All right, live now. Welcome to Sports Frenzy, guys. I'm your host Josh, and we have Mr. Arsenal himself with us, Bones. On the panel, we soon supposed to have Shaky Shakes and the Voice Kim's joining us, right? So, what are you doing, Mr. Arsenal?
They are like cool, I go on easy, enjoy the break, Merry Christmas to everybody, from everyone at Arsenal. You understand? Big up on yourself. Enjoy the moments, enjoy World Cup starting this Sunday. Forget about the Premier League this week, man. Who is to be at the top is already at the top. Like, leave them be. Just have yourself a Merry Christmas and we don't know about the New Year, but have yourself a Merry Christmas.
And joining us, we have Shaky Shakes and the Voice, Kim's. What are you guys doing?
Good man, good.
You're good, Kim's. So you look so like you
Tired,
just
man.
wake up. So wake up.
Tired, man.
Alright, Shaky Shakes has been away for a long time. How are you doing tonight?
I good, not as happy as Bones, but glad he can finally be.
And in our comment section, we have Kish, that's Latoya, and we have Katie and Michelle. Big up to our commenters that are always with us, and big up everyone. So this is our final EPL review show before Qatar World Cup 2022. Our first game over the weekend was a shock result to most persons, including myself. That's Manchester City versus Brentford, and in fact, Manchester City was at home and they lost 2-1 to Brentford. What to make of that game? Shakes, since you're just back with us.
All right, well, that's a game that I watched. That was the first game of the weekend, and boy, when you talk about unexpected, um, firstly, you would say, all right, every man ticket mash up, because people would just pick Man City to win. If they were following Bones in terms of what Bones was saying, is either Arsenal going to be leading the Premier League by what, 1 point? You said, Bones?
No, I said Arsenal by two or City
Two,
by one.
or City by one? Yeah, because I,
Yeah.
I was following what you were saying in terms of on the streams. Yeah, so everybody thinking that, all right, last game, but for me, I didn't think that with the last game before the World Cup. For me, I just not getting injured. That's me, right? So when I looked at how City were playing, um, I just think that they came out flat. They weren't really 100% committed out there. I'm not taking away anything from Brentford and their performance, but I just started in terms of with City, in terms of how they looked. Even Kevin De Bruyne, he just didn't look himself. Simple key passes that he would be making on a regular day just wasn't making them, right? But in terms of on the Brentford aspect of it, they clearly came out with energy. Ivan Toney came out with a point to prove, especially because your manager decided to leave him out. So he was up for the game, but not just him, the entire Brentford team. Um, Listen, when they're playing well, they'll give you a very good game, right? And this game, in terms of City coming out flat, their players not really doing much. It was very easy for them to come out and basically enforce themselves in the game. They got numerous chances at the start to be probably 3-0 up before they scored that first goal, right? But even despite missed chances, they took their chance, scored that brilliant header by Ivan Toney. For the equalizer though, what can I say? Phil Foden, brilliant goal.
Brilliant. Well,
Yeah, that was a superb half volley. But in terms of, I believe, on the flow of the game, the fact that Brentford won the game, I believe that it was deserved based on the balance of play, not possession, because Man City had most of the possession either way. But just in terms of the chances created, clear cut chances, I believe that the 2-1 scoreline, and yeah, it should have been more, because Ivan Toney should have had a hat trick And that for me would have been the icing on the cake in terms of sticking it to Gareth Southgate just before the World Cup, scoring a hat trick against Man City. It doesn't matter how Man City come out and play, just scoring against the champions. Um, that is something that you take that ball home and you celebrate, right? But as I said, it was a good display from Brentford. As I said, Man City for me just disjointed on the day. But as I said, for me, if you're going to the World Cup in a week from then, I don't see why you're going to go into challenges full blooded. I don't see why you're going to go and go try risk injury because what there's no window for you to recover really and truly if you get a significant.
So basically saying that they were being tentative then.
Yeah, very.
Okay. All right. Mr. Arsenal Bones, what do you think?
Yeah, me have to agree with Kems because with Sheikh, sorry. Because me watch a few of the games weekend and I felt the same way. Even in my game, when we get to there, I'll elaborate more about Arsenal's game. But yeah, I felt like that over the weekend as well, and it was something that we were echoing on Friday night that this might be a possibility, even though we didn't know how the weekend was going to turn out, but we got it right in terms of there was a sense in most of the games like players just they was just going through the motions and just hope that the motions would help them to win. But Brentford score Manchester City like goal to win the game and the very last minute of the game. Still there's some controversies in the game. I think it was Silva who flicked a ball up and it hit the hand of one of the Brighton's defenders. So penalty or not penalty. Again, what is the handball rule? So all of those things come into play. City were adamant that it was a penalty. I'm not too sure it was. I've seen worse. I think I've seen one with Gabriel. I think that wasn't given and it was the proximity. It was a handball, but they were saying because of the proximity of the player to the next player, then the VAR wrote it out. So
Once
but
it was a handball. They got a
yeah, it
free.
was a hand.
They got a free
Honestly,
kick.
it looked like a handball to me, to be honest.
No, I'm saying it was adjudged a handball. They got a free kick. It was just whether or not the guy's foot was inside or as in
No, not
on the
that
line.
one. No, not
Oh,
that one.
oh, not that one.
No, not that one. The next one. There was
Oh,
one, and there was
no,
one that happened in.
I don't believe that one was a penalty.
You know
Yeah.
which one I'm talking, right?
Yeah, this the other
Yeah.
one. Yeah, I thought
Yes.
you
It
were
was,
talking the
it
one
was
that they
okay.
got the free kick.
No, I'm talking the next one that they protested bigly, hugely for as well, right? But yeah, it was just going through the motions, and but
They were just
Brent,
trying to get some penalty or some things from the ref. City were really they protested a
Exactly.
lot in that game.
Kevin De Bruyne
And
dive
none of those
dive big in that game
yeah,
also.
they really wanted to get something when they weren't protesting, they were diving.
Haaland,
yeah,
Haaland did the same thing. He was dropping
Yeah,
himself to the ground. Kevin
ground
De Bruyne was doing the same thing. Like they were just trying to
to get
because
something from the ref.
because they realized that they just never had the energy in the game. They were just trying to buy the rest decision.
Yeah,
right. And in games like this, I saw in other games too, right, where players that weren't going to the World Cup made an effort to help players that are actually going to the World Cup, right? In terms of they were more aggressive, they were more willing to play, right? And it's just surprising, like
Who
players like
who who did you see that with? Who did you see that with?
when I get to my game, I'll tell you.
No, but we're talking about a particular game now. So I'm asking, in this particular game, who
No,
did
what?
you see
No,
that with?
no. Listen. What I'm saying is, who I saw that way
That's
was
what that,
probably
that's what
was
I asked.
was actually Ivan Toney played like he played really well. He played like it was just
No,
another game. But
boss.
in terms of City team, I expected players like Haaland, who is not going to the World Cup, to have stepped up in good
No,
moments,
Sherwin,
produce something good for his
Sherwin,
team.
Sherwin. That's not
With
what
the,
you said. Sherwin,
no,
you said, hold on, Sherwin. You said that there are players who are not going to the World Cup who you see was helping players who are going to the World Cup. And I'm saying, who are those players?
you
Don't
did
tell me
not.
that what Haaland should have do.
You did not allow me to finish. That's why sometimes you must stop and wait until my conversation or my argument is done. Then you judge it at that point. Now, when
But,
me halfway through, you're gonna
but,
stop me.
but I'm saying that we're talking about the Man City versus Brentford. So
Right,
if you're making a statement of such, I'm expecting
right.
you to talk about this game at hand, not an
And this is a
Arsenal
game.
game that's coming
No,
up.
and this is a game that I'm talking
Okay,
about.
so who are
Because
those players?
listen, let me go back to my conversation before this guy twists me head and twists me tongue and everything. Anyways, let me go back to what I'm saying. Over the weekend, I saw players who who played for the players who were going to World Cup. I expected Erling Haaland to have done the same for Manchester City on Saturday morning. He did not. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay,
He did not.
but how many games like this have we seen Haaland played? You act like this is the first time we see Haaland play this poorly. We've seen it before this season in multiple
When?
games.
Against who?
The
No, that's
game,
hold on. I'm the biggest Haaland fan. Yes, he has done it before.
like,
When?
like,
Which
like
game?
He,
He played.
um
He played. He
Bones,
played only in the
Bones,
Community
I
Shield.
literally just said that Haaland was dropping to the ground to buy a referee's decision,
bro, the
not
Yeah,
man,
we
just
know.
once,
Yeah, we
but
know that game.
right? And even if you want to say, okay, the other players weren't unsung throughout the game, because I can understand Phil Foden going to the World Cup, Kevin De Bruyne going to the World Cup, right? In terms of that midfield, Gundogan going to the World Cup, right? Most of the Man City players are going to the World Cup. Even from their backline, Akanji going to the World Cup, Ederson going to the World Cup, right?
Everybody. Everybody.
Literally all of the Man City team going to the World Cup, right? But for me, if Pep was more listen, for me, it would have been easier to get the mental frame of mind of the players before, because you could have probably put out some of the youngsters in this game and get a better team effort at the end of the day.
me,
Play some of the guys that one and the two other players that not necessarily going to the World Cup in that starting 11 and get a better team output.
so Michelle, there is no such thing as very wrong. Really and truly, there isn't. Like if you get something wrong, like it's wrong. Like there's no, oh, you get it very wrong. All of us who predicted the game were wrong. Every single one of us.
But who came the closest with
You
actual?
don't.
But
There's
no, 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 no. Who came the closest with actual analysis of what could have taken place in that game? And I see him, so you go.
Sherwin.
Eh?
Sherwin.
Thank you
No,
very much.
Sherwin. What your analysis was
No,
that
I think you
I
just said
you said
Sherwin full stop.
I don't know. I don't know why Brentford is going to draw, but I just have a feeling that it's going to be 2-2. Word
What
for
a
word
man,
verbatim. That's what you
wicked.
said.
We say it's a man here. What a man. No, sir.
Bro, when we ask you why you feel, because Demo said, say a Brentford and City a play, right? And then you said yes. And I don't know why I'm pick 2-2, but I just feel like the game are gonna be 2-2. That was your
Okay,
exact words.
okay.
James, what you thought about the game?
So I mean, I kinda saw the game differently, right? I kinda saw the game differently. Obviously, initially, I think City, came out flat, and I've seen them come out flat a couple games this season. I even thought they were flat against Fulham, if we're being honest. Was it Fulham that they won 1-0? Yeah, I think they were flat against Fulham and such. What I think is that I think how we're structured and wired to think as human beings is that. So we tend to think, okay, City is flat, okay, the World Cup is coming up, so it must the World Cup make them flat. But I, I kind of try not to take that approach because, again, as I've said, I've seen Haaland been very poor this season against some really mediocre teams. He just didn't have it. And I mean, if you're playing a season so tedious, so long, with the World Cup in it, there's going to be some games where you just don't get up. Like, your body just can't get up or whatever. But I think after Brentford scored that goal, then I saw City started to inject some energy into it, right? I see them start to, try and do the thing. And I know Sheikh said he believed that Brentford should have won, but that chance that Gundogan got, I don't know how that man missed that. I hope he missed them there when he was playing at the World Cup. I pray that he missed those same chances. But I don't know how he missed that chance. And I think had he scored that, I think obviously it would have been a total different game. But I still thought that in that game, City fancied themselves to win the game. And that's why they were still pressuring up until the 94th minute or whatever. And then, Ivan Toney get the break and then, what I'm doing after that. Right? So again, I picked that City. I picked City for win 6-0. That was my pick, right? And again, the rationale behind my pick was that Brentford, Brentford as a team, they lost to a League Two team midweek, who is in the bottom six of the league, right? They lost to them and they played 7 of their starters. So I'm saying, all right then, City can brush this side apart, brush this side one side and just get it over with. But it just wasn't to be, right? And I was wrong, but that's the main reason why I chose that. But you know, World Cup time, so good win for Brentford.
All right, sticking with you, Kems, what do you make of our second game, Bournemouth versus Everton? 3-0
Uh,
home win for Bournemouth, which came as a surprise to some persons, but
3-0. So is a 3-0 or 3-1?
3-0 home win.
3-0, 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah. We
So
expected Bournemouth probably to win, but not by really 3-0.
No, I
so
think I think I think we mostly expected Everton to win
yeah.
and then
I
draw.
picked Everton. I picked Everton to get at least a point from the game, but I really wanted them to win. And it was kind of surprising how atrocious the defense was for Everton, right? And I guess you're saying that. I guess they always say when you have limited attacking options, then you really can't produce the attack, so the other team are always attacking. I think that was what was happening in the game. Everton just couldn't seem to muster up anything. They just didn't have an answer for Bournemouth, and Bournemouth obviously took the chances and scored the goals. Um, I just think it was a big win. And I said that I think that Lampard would be in some serious trouble. And he is actually, I think he's in what now, 14th place, but I think he's just 1 point
He's
above
in what?
the relegations.
He's in 17th.
He's in
Oh,
what?
17. See
He's
there?
in 17th position,
I'm
one
sorry,
point
yeah,
above
17,
Nottingham.
1 point above Nottingham, right? So again, coming from the World Cup, let's see. Hopefully, Calvert Lewin and those guys, can get back fit, get back ready, because I think it's going to be some serious trouble for them. I have to give credit to Bournemouth though. When they went ahead and they got that bad result and then them fire Scott Parker. I believe that they haven't looked back since then. They have grind out results. Obviously, last week against Leeds, they gave up the 3-1, but I think this week they bounced back. And when they had the 3-0, obviously, my bet on Everton for draw the game. So I was hoping that Everton can come back. But I think Bournemouth was really solid. I think they were aggressive. I think all the 50-50 balls they were winning, they wanted to win this game. They wanted to go into the break on a high. And I think that's exactly what they did. Everton just seemed. I think Lampard in this particular match. I'm not talking about the season, but in this match, Lampard looked void for ideas. Like him just never know what to do. Like there is, and him look on the bench. There was really nobody else on the bench who could have been a game changer for him in that game. So just one of them things.
Shakes, what you thought about that game?
Boy, Frankie, boy. Um, hmm. Bournemouth. If Bournemouth want up in your 3-0, even away from home, you know that things are really, really bad. Um, I've never really been sold on Frank Lampard in terms of as a manager. Um, yeah, people might talk about the dysfunction at Everton, but should Bournemouth really be beating you 3-0?
Yeah. Do you think that Lampard is like a manager
N-
that blow hot and cold?
not yeah, obviously. Definitely, right? And in what I was saying before, with Bournemouth, should Bournemouth, who were on a 4-game losing streak prior to going to Everton, right, for their last 5 games, right, they lost 4, and you get the win against Everton, who's supposed to be a mainstay in the EPL. Mm, it don't matter. Listen, it don't matter about injuries anymore, right? Because even if you say, all right, okay, a key piece is out, but guess what? Yeah, the key piece being out should affect the results against the better teams. But Bournemouth, really? You're getting walloped. They honestly weren't in that game at all. Right? And as Kibbs rightfully said, he could literally see that Lampard was devoid of ideas. Now, if you are devoid of ideas against a championship team that came up, right? Then really and truly, all hope na gone. Like you really have to be considering over the next 6 weeks during the World Cup break. Okay, do we give him some games into? There are like 2 games. There are 2 games: Boxing Day and New Year's Day. Yeah, in terms of between that period, I think the 31st and the first, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, plus Boxing Day. Do you give him the opportunity to play 2 more games and then go for a new manager, or do you sack him over the period and try and get a new manager in? For me, because things are so close when it comes on to between, say, the team at 14th, who is now Bournemouth, that Kims was put in terms of Everton in that position. Yeah, so it was actually the reverse. Bournemouth in 14th, Everton in 17th. But really and truly, there are only 2 points separating them. However, you don't want another team to suddenly pick up form and you not in any form, right? Because over the last 5 games, Everton they have only picked up 4 points. You gave Bournemouth their first 3 points. This could be a run for them. Thankfully, Everton going to say, well, it is a World Cup, so there's no run to go on. But you never know. A lot of these teams don't necessarily have people going to the World Cup, so will be fresh. So it's something for them to consider at the end of the day. But for me, I just think that Frank Lampard, out of his depth, I'm always for young managers, but I believe you're supposed to work your way up to the top, right? I'm not saying that you can't give somebody who is excellent, right, or who has brilliant ideas, a top job, right? Whether it's the best club in the world or a top 6 club in the world or a top 8 club in the world, right? I'm all for young managers, but I just believe that he needs a little bit more experience instead of trying to work with the dysfunction at Everton, because really and truly, Everton don't want to drop out of the EPL, and they have spent so badly. And the owner, Moshiri, him not gonna get up and spend no more money right now because they know they have wasted. So he has to then think, all right, can I really get these players to perform? And the board has to then, decide if they can work with him going forward. But for me, I would let him go.
All right, Bones, Mr.
I,
Harrison.
I think this was a game, this was an iffy game for us over the weekend, and I don't remember if quite frankly, if this was one of the managers that Kems was having doubts about over the weekend. I don't remember if it was Frank Lampard. Was it?
No man, Moyes man.
Oh,
Mm.
Moyes, yes, true. And it was a hard game to call, but I think me and Ryan called a 2-2 draw and or something like that. But why at one point you felt like Everton were getting somewhere, because with Cody coming in, we thought that he kind of stabilized their defense a little bit. But they're absolutely still poor up front, as I think I said it on Friday, that they don't have anybody to score any goals for them up front. Yes, what's his name? The little kid. What's his name again? That was scoring a lot of goals for
Doing
them the other day. Who? Garden. Is it
Gardner,
Garden?
Anthony Gardner,
Anthony
Yeah,
Gordon,
Anthony
yeah.
Gardner.
yes. Yes. So he was, yeah, but no, the farm change. It will be Nesta. We don't know what is happening to him now again. He was absolutely superb over the last couple of weeks and then just gone back to him normal self. So, but as I continue to say, if you believe that this is a team you're going to challenge with to stay up in the Premier League, you have to beat that team. Now, if Everton was to say to themselves, this is a team that we have to beat if we want to finish mid-table or higher up in the table and not too low down, then this is a team we have to beat, and they did not do that. Bournemouth saw an opportunity, they grabbed the opportunity, and they beat a well-established club that's always in the Premier League season after season after season. Now, if you want to stay in the Premier League, you have to beat these teams, and that is what Bournemouth did on Saturday. And for them, that is a plus going forward. So at the end of the day, you have to beat those who are around you, who you think you are going to whether challenge them for the league, whether challenge them for top four, whether challenge them for top six, or whether to challenge them to stay up in the league. You have to beat those teams, and Bournemouth did that. And now Frank Lampard is in a spot of bother again, and I'm not agreeing with Shakes yet. I would love to see him get those two games, Boxing Day game and New Year's game, out of the way first, then see what happened after those two games, and then they make a decision. If he can't win, if he can't get at least 4 points from those two games, then that's it, and not good enough.
All right, Shakes. Our next game was Liverpool versus Southampton. So Liverpool with a 3-1 win, and Darwin Nunes, right, silencing some of his doubters. Well, what's the made of that performance, Shakes?
Well, when you talk about a top security team, that's Liverpool. Um, I guess they've been consistently inconsistent, some would say, right? They're blowing hot and cold, so they're good this week, they're bad the other week. But they played really well against Southampton. Yes, Southampton is not necessarily the biggest team, but guess what? Based on the season that they have had thus far, it was a good win for them. I wouldn't say necessarily a dominant win, right? Because Allison had to come up trumps in that game just the same, right? The goals were well taken in terms of from Firmino, nice set piece, good header right into the far corner. Darwin Nunes, as you say, silencing some of his
Critique.
doubters. Yes. I mean, listen, for me with Nunes, you see that red card that he got. I don't remember which match it was, but early in the season he got a red card in one of the games, and then he was out of the team. I think that messed up the flow. Um,
I think he was
of,
out for 3 games. They banned
yeah,
him for
of
3 games.
him acclimatizing to the Liverpool way of play, and then even when he was available after that red card, that suspension, he didn't. Klopp never just put him back into the team. Now we see that he's been getting games, and when you really think about it, he has a good goal return for the season thus far for somebody that's just coming to the Premier League, right? It's
Better
decent.
than better than Jesus.
There you go, right?
I think
But
Fabi is saying that game was against Palace. Like he got the red
Palace.
card.
Oh, okay, yeah. With the red card, yeah. I just couldn't remember which team. But yeah, as in it's a decent return, and we have to remember that he's young, right? So I wasn't one of them that got up and say, yeah, him can't make it in the EPL, right? Because you see, unlike few players, yeah, you give them a season, you give them a season and a half, 2 seasons for them to acclimatize to the Premier League, right? So no problem if you give Darwin Nunes. Once the team is playing well, he will get chances, and over time he will mature in terms of his gameplay even at his age for Liverpool. So at the end of the day, good double for him. Outside of that, as I said, good goal by Adams, just the same, brilliant delivery by James Ward-Prowse. Allison for me, um, toss up between Alisson and Darwin Nunes in terms of a man of the match. I would definitely say Alisson, based on the saves that he made, some brilliant saves he
Yeah,
made.
he did make some brilliant
Yeah,
saves.
some brilliance. He's realized that the man get a new haircut for the
Yeah,
Brazil #1 position for the World Cup because he knows that we're going to win the World Cup. Yeah.
and
Um,
he made some brilliant saves, and
yeah,
that game was on CVM, by the way, guys. So we watched that game.
there you go. So yeah. It was a brilliant display in terms of from him, and
Nunes.
it's the best time to make top saves just before you go to the World Cup. So you know that you're on top form, you know. You don't want to be making mistakes like some other people, like your keeper Josh, before
Right,
you
right, before
before you
World
go to
Cup.
the World Cup, right? You basically want to cement your status, cement your confidence going into a big tournament like that. So for me, he was brilliant on the day. As I said, overall a good result for Liverpool based on what they've been doing all season, where they are coming from, and I mean they just keep on climbing the table.
All right,
So let's see what happens going forward.
Kems. What I thought about that game?
Um, that game, I think Southampton was lucky not to get around 15 in that game. To be honest with you, I mean, obviously, Allison made some Alisson made some great saves, but again, I always think that when we talk about goalkeepers making great saves, I think that's what they're paid to do, right? So I was very disappointed, with a Mo Salah. Obviously, he's not going to the World Cup, and but I think he was a shell of himself in that particular game. Firmino was good, as Shakes mentioned. Nunes was good as well. And I think what them say James Milner made his 600 appearance.
Yes.
So he's a veteran out there. But I just think overall, obviously, Liverpool was just a better team, better coach, better players, better everything, right? And the 3-1 scoreline is not a justification of how the game really went. If we're being honest, it could have probably finished 12-3 or 12-2. But again, Liverpool get their 3 points. I think it's a much needed 3 points for them. After the last two games, we know how those went for them in the Premier League. So I think it's a great victory for them.
All right, Bones. What I made of that game?
It was well. These are the games now that we expect Liverpool to win, except me, who thought they would have probably drawn the game. Um, but these are games that you expect them to win, especially with a faltering Southampton team, right? You expect Liverpool to win these games. I don't listen. I can be very probably Liverpool fans will come at me for saying this, but uh, um, Dimo always talk about Liverpool climbing and all of these things. Uh, for me, right now, I really believe that the top three pack is too far away from Liverpool for them to catch them right now. Because I think Arsenal is something like 14 points ahead or 15, and then you just minus come down 5 and then whatever. I think they're too far ahead, and with a quality Newcastle team, with a quality City team, with Arsenal having that amount of points in front. Tottenham holding on to fourth place, they just don't know how to lose, even when they play really bad games, you know. But so I think it's far from them right now. Right now, I think Liverpool. I see somebody. I see Fabi just saying about they will be okay in January when Jata and Diaz come back. These guys were playing when they were struggling in August and September. So I don't know what he's talking about. You understand what I mean? I don't know what he's talking about. They were playing when they were struggling, when they couldn't win a game. These guys were playing.
Fabi, he's saying that they were 15 points behind at this stage last season.
Yeah, and they still didn't win the league.
But they came within
Can't
1
use
point.
that. Can't use that.
Cannot lose that.
Different
Probably
things are
is looking
different
at
in this year.
probably is looking at the fact that Spurs and Newcastle played an extra game over Liverpool.
No,
Correct.
but
What is Bobby referring to? Is he referring to winning the league or coming top four?
No, I thought no. It's to what Bone said about the points differential between Arsenal and Liverpool in terms of
Okay,
the
so
50.
I don't have Liverpool to win the league. But
Right.
that's why I'm asking if it's about winning the league or top four.
yeah, and then you come, and then how much points City in front of them by in second place, and Newcastle, who is just 2 points behind City. There's no way. They have bigger stuff to think about right now
But
because
that's with the game in hand. With the
listen.
game in hand.
Forget the game in hand, right? As Sheikh said, they're hot and cold. They come like some engine where you throw wrong gas in and it start battle after a while. Boof, you give you one good little 5 kilometers and then they just boof. I just that Liverpool I give them fans right now. They're not good. They're simple that. They're not good, none at all. Everybody are talk about after World Cup, after World Cup, after World Cup. Like, what is there? Nothing is there. Players, most top teams, what people don't understand right now, is that most of the top clubs have almost 95 or 98% of their players going to the World Cup. So
But
everybody
Bones,
will be.
what was the potential takeover of the new owners probably motivating that Liverpool
They don't know. They can get.
Josh,
They don't know who they're getting as new owners.
Josh, listen. For the
that's what I'm seeing from Liverpool fans. They're
for the for
high.
the for the you see for the EPL slots, there's only one slot up for grab, and that's fourth place, really and truly.
So
Yeah.
you're saying that Newcastle secure third.
Fourth place. Hold on. So when I say one slot, so you see the teams that are in the top four right now, 3 of those 4 teams will be in the top 4 come the end of the season, right? Everybody might
Who are
say
those? Who
Newcastle,
are those 3 teams?
everybody might say Newcastle might fall away, but guess what? How many players from Newcastle going to the World Cup? Everybody might say Man City going fall away. Okay, but they're Man City. Even if Man City fall away, Man City not falling away further than third. Okay, even if they want to say Arsenal going collapse and don't win the league, fine. Arsenal can't finish lower than second at the end of the Premier League, right? They would have to have some form of not even national, international disaster where they end up with multiple injuries all over the park for them to go on a great collapse. But 3 of those 4 teams will be there. And people might say, yeah, Tottenham blow hot and cold, but guess what? Quite a number of the Tottenham players ain't going to the World Cup either, right?
True.
So they are going to be rested. When you think about the other teams now, okay, Chelsea in a world of problem. Liverpool, except Thiago and Mo Salah, right? Bobby Firmino. Most of the Liverpool squad going to the World Cup, right? Manchester United just the same, right? Those are the 3 teams that I'm picking that would really challenge the 4 teams that are currently placed in the top 4, right? And really and truly, I am really taking out the top two out of it in terms of Arsenal and Man City. I believe that those teams, they have shown that they're going to be consistent throughout the entire season based on the games played. I can deduce from what I've seen since the start of the season that the other teams are not as consistent. They are inconsistently consistent, right? So at the end of the day, even if the other teams who are way in front are going to falter, then you're telling me that every other team that's behind will have a perfect season? But that's not possible. You can only have probably one team out of those three that have a perfect rest of the season or as best as possible. So really and truly, if only one out of the Liverpool, Manchester United, or Chelsea have a good end to the rest of the season, it's really only one slot up for grab. Because you're going to need 10 teams to fall off.
Mhm.
And
Just
tell me, how many Premier League seasons have you seen where three teams fall off to accommodate three teams? How
that's true.
many how many seasons have you
Not much.
watched EPL where two teams fall off out of the top four to allow two other teams to get in? It's normally only one.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
And
yeah.
and,
just to
and,
put things in perspective for our viewers, I see Pepe Paul saying that when Liverpool was 15 points then last season, they had 4 games in hand. So for Fabi Ferno, who was trying to say that they were 15 points behind, it was not the same number of games played at that
Yeah,
point.
that's already 12 points
So
right there.
technically 12 points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
12 points. But
Fabi,
but you see,
that Fabi was trying to trick us. So I'm glad
you,
that one of our commentators made that clear.
yeah, but Josh, you see, and me have to strongly back kept Shake's point because this is something we want to say from week, but me I wait for the opportunity to say it. Me see big analysts like Gary Neville come out and still a hold on to the fact say City going to run away with this league by 15 points. Arsenal would have to drop 20 points over the remaining 24 games, right? 20 points for City to win the league by 15
And that's
points.
not possible.
It won't happen.
That will happen. That will
hey
happen. I think
Josh,
the
you
league is
see, you see, you see,
within 5 points.
back in the day, usually when Arsenal lose a game. So you see when Arsenal lost to our team, Manchester United, back in the day, they would
Would
have
have crumbled.
they would have lost
Two
the,
or
the,
three more
the
games after
Could
that.
have
following
been a
game.
catalyst.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's like
Or they would have drawn some games. But guess what?
which is one of their
Listen,
main criticism that they don't really have spine. Once they lose, then they go on a losing run.
exactly. And if it's one thing that has changed at Arsenal is the mentality. And you see, once you get people to buy into a mentality, listen, it don't matter if your players are inferior, once you play as a team, which is exactly what Arsenal is doing right now. So even though Man City have the wherewithal and the know it all, and yeah, they have been what 4-time champions over the last 5 years, right? Even with that, really and truly, that's all Man City really hoping on, because they've been looking and saying, but my God, like, no matter what we do, every single week, Arsenal just keep on coming back and winning in games when you think, okay,
They're
they
going
been
to lose.
outplayed a little. Them still a win 1-0. Josh, our team used to do that back in the day. Win games 1-0, right? We call it grinding out results. That's what Arsenal they are doing right now, right? As I said, you would need too many teams that are up there to drop. The same thing can be said about Newcastle. Newcastle has that mentality that guess what? Oh, hey, even though we have inferior players, it doesn't matter. We have a team cohesion that is so brilliant that despite our players being inferior in terms of name on a team sheet, that does not reflect on the park, right? And that is why their results, even when we expect Newcastle to draw a game, what Newcastle doing? They've been winning a game and they've been winning comfortably. And realistically speaking, yo, let's take bias out of it and we want our club to get into the top 4. But just looking at it objectively, yo, those teams are just playing well right now. They are consistent. The 2 most consistent teams in the EPL right now, Newcastle and Arsenal. Then Man City, right? Pick anybody else after that. So you just have a hope, say, well, if a turmoil happen in terms of with some of the players that go into the World Cup or with Newcastle and Arsenal. And guess what? January transfer window coming up. Listen, Arsenal can add two key players to them team. Newcastle can do the same. Them have endless money, right? Them can just add 2 key pieces, where even if they pick up an injury, hey, guess what? They still have some strength in them. So as I said, too many teams would have a hope for some perfect end to the season. So it's only 1 slot, as I said.
All right, Shakes. Ryan, what's the made for Leicester 2-0 away win to West Ham?
Before we get into that, I want to chime in with the table discussion as well, because I'm looking at the standings right now.
Yeah.
Let us remember that it's only
all right.
What?
Oh, you want to mention the table discussion?
Yeah, man, it's a round table discussion.
Yeah, because I agree that first and second, in terms of the top 4 race, first and second for me is confirmed. Arsenal and Man City. I don't see them dropping out of the top 4. I still have reservations about Newcastle making the top 4. Let us remember that is only 38% of the season and 68% of the season is still left. Let us remember that most of the season we don't even reach halfway yet. Let us also remember that we have also seen teams. I think it was 2 years ago Liverpool was way down and them come top 4. They come 3rd that season.
Yes, sir. With 65 injuries.
So we have seen this before, and looking at the table right now, Tottenham has played 15 games, and they are in 4th. Everybody else played 14. So even Chelsea who is in 8th. Worst case
Newcastle play 15 as well. Both Newcastle. Newcastle and Tottenham play 15.
No, I'm talking about Tottenham in 4th. No,
you said the rest. All the rest play 14 games.
Yeah, I mean below Tottenham.
Okay.
The rest, as in those who I think can compete. I don't have Brian competing for top 4, so look what
you're talking United and Liverpool then.
So you have the
United, Liverpool, and Chelsea.
And Chelsea, all right.
Yeah, because looking at if United, Liverpool, and Chelsea win their game in hand, Chelsea, who is below them, will be 6 points off top 4. So it's not a. Remember, a couple weeks ago, Manchester United was not in the top 4 race. People were saying, "Oh, Manchester United now come top 4." Liverpool was in 11th 2 weeks ago. Liverpool is now in 6th.
Exactly.
So let us not get carried away by the table as it is now. 2-3 games and the table can change. It has happened before and it is happening in our face right now. Last month, Manchester United was not in the top 4 race. Manchester United is now in 5th. So there's a lot of football left to be played.
Last month, as in October.
About that, wasn't it?
You sure about that?
Not exactly. Maybe it will be September. Maybe September.
I
Maybe
October. In September.
Yeah, because
probably September.
Long run.
Because
you guys went on a good. You guys on a like what?
We'll be in September when we lost both the opening games.
Yeah.
Something like
at the start of the season for Manchester United. So I believe you're only talking about your team.
No, yes. But Chelsea was in 4th for a good while.
Yeah, I know. And really and truly, it's only your team drop off.
Yeah, but I'm also pointing out that there's a lot of football left to be played, and teams who are playing well right now going to have bad runs. And teams who are having bad runs, right now go and pick up.
So Ryan, you have reservations about Newcastle. What are the reasons for those?
I think Newcastle will come in about 5th. I don't think Newcastle is a top 4 team yet.
Why?
I don't think they have a good squad.
So let me ask you this, Ryan. You believe that Chelsea can finish ahead of Newcastle?
I believe so. I'm not saying it going to happen, but I believe it's
no. We're not.
No, just for the comment section, because enough times I say I believe things and people say you said things.
No. Well, I am asking the question, not somebody in the comments.
All right, I'm saying this against the backdrop that we have seen many times that teams who have experience, they find a way how to get it done in the home stretch.
Yep.
I don't think Newcastle has that experience as yet.
So you believe that
Ryan, I
two
think that
slots are up for grabs?
Huh?
2 slots are up for
I
grabs.
think Newcastle will get pipped for top 4 by either Tottenham, Liverpool, Man U, or Chelsea.
So Ryan, you basically think that they're going to
Well-
be like Leicester 2 seasons ago, where Leicester come 5th and was in the top 4 most of the season in the pick.
I think something like that. I
Oh,
don't
so-
think they're ready for top. I don't think they're a top 4 team as yet.
But Ryan,
I don't think their squad is a
you're
top 4
agreeing with
squad as
me.
yet.
But you're agreeing with me saying that okay, you're taking Newcastle out of that top 4. Right?
Shit. I started my conversation by saying 2 teams
Yeah.
for
I
me
know, but you've only
will
picked
make the top
one.
4.
You've only picked one in Newcastle. You said Newcastle going to finish 5th.
Yes.
So you haven't really disagreed with what we were saying in terms of
No, I
one
never said I
spot.
disagree with what. I never said I disagree.
Yeah, so you said 2 teams. So which other team going to fall out? So you're saying Tottenham going to drop out as well?
Yeah.
Tottenham has a potential to drop out.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying
Bones is the
that
one that
1 and 2 for me will make the top 4.
So
The other
let me
5
ask you this,
teams
Ryan.
is a race. The other 5 teams
Yeah.
is between the other 5 teams for 3 and 4.
So let
I
me
think
ask
it's
you this,
reasonable
Ryan.
because
If 2
Bones
teams,
was saying earlier on that that the top 3 has been secured, and I disagree as well. I don't
Magic.
think their position is secure.
I think it's
So
one.
we can
For me, it's only 1 and 2. I think the
Yeah, I
top
think
4
it's only
race.
1 and 2 is secure.
I think the top 4
We can
race is
get
between the
to
other 5 teams.
hold on the demo. So
We
Ryan,
can
let
get
me
to
ask
talk
you
now,
this
Josh.
let me ask you this last
All right,
question,
all right.
Ryan.
No, make him ask me last question
Hold on,
and then you can chat.
I'm
Go
going
on,
to
your last
leave
question.
Demo for a minute, for a few minutes, make him talk.
No, it
Come on,
was really to Ryan's point, that I was asking, right? Because it had to do with his team. Because if 2 teams are going to fill that slot, Ryan, don't you believe that would be Manchester United and Liverpool?
Why it has to be Manchester and
No,
Liverpool?
I'm asking, and I'm not saying.
I already said that 5 teams have the potential to make the top 4 out of
the most.
So I don't know why. I don't know why we reach Manchester and Liverpool only.
No,
I don't
man,
know why you're
you just
asking me that.
ask the most likely teams based on.
I don't know. I pointed out that Chelsea would be 6 points behind.
Are you guys taking into consideration the January transfer window that some of those?
Of course, everybody going to have the same window.
Make signings, but not every top clubs are going to make signings in the January.
I know that, but everybody will have the same chance to make signings.
Yeah, we'd have the same chance, but you know that sometimes when teams are performing very well, they go out to try to get that lead, like Arsenal, who is leading right now. Demo, what you're saying?
Finally. Good evening, everybody in the comment section.
You're welcome.
Big up the panelists. Listen, I was getting here and I was just hearing a lot of waffling. Like I don't understand how we can just allow shakes and bones to just come and make definitive statements. Like, man, listen, I'm here the man say these 3 teams will be the 3 teams at the end of the season in the top 4. Like, why is that so definitive? Like, why is they will? Like, Josh, how much gameplay? As Ryan just said, what, 60% of the season left? Players are going on to the World Cup.
Demo, I have never seen a team go Champions League with 30 points. That's how we make it.
The man say it's an opinion when he is making a definitive statement. Even say, in my opinion, these are the 3. The man says, these are the 3. All right. So let me finish. Right?
In your opinion, boss.
Okay. Let me finish. Right? So the teams are going after the World Cup, and I'm telling you, boss. You see, after that World Cup break, players can come back injured, and it only takes 2 injuries for Arsenal, and them start fall. No Gabriel Jesus, no Martinelli.
Why only Arsenal? Why not Liverpool? Why not Chelsea? Arsenal players alone that World Cup was susceptible to get injured.
Shit, he said Paul. He said Paul.
Why you can't allow him to finish?
And the counteraction to be that is that there's a window coming up, so you can counteract that.
Listen to what I'm saying now. I have been listening to Arsenal fans complaining about their squad depth for a while, right? So I am mentioning Arsenal because of them complaining about the squad depth. They mentioned Jesus as a main one that they needed a backup for, and I am saying it only take 2 injuries to Jesus and probably Women Party, and they see them feeble again and start drop points because they're the ones complaining, right? So them can come back and all of that happen. No, sure, things can happen to other teams as well, but they probably have the players for come in and fill in throughout those injuries. We mentioned Arsenal specifically because of Unamir complain about the squad depth. Fine. No, the Newcastle thing, we just see Callum Wilson out and them affair use Chris Wood as them forward. Like that's how thin the thing get, as Ryan mentioned, same don't think them have the squad. And Chris Wood obviously isn't good enough to lead the line. Right? All need a couple injuries and players start go down. So I don't think that you hear Ryan same thing too. I don't think I think 2 people finalizing at the top 4 yet. I still think there's a lot of football to be played and anything can happen. Nobody would have thought that Manchester City would be 5 points behind Arsenal right now, and everybody still give Manchester City favorites to win the league. If you ask Bones right now, with 5 points ahead, and when them come back, them win them game, them probably are gonna be 8 points. He is still not going to come out and say Arsenal are going to win the league. Why? Because a lot of football is left to be played, and he's not confident in him side to hold up and maintain that. Remember, this is not
It's
even
not
a
a
Liverpool
reasonable
team.
thing too, though, Demo. It's reasonable to think a lot in line.
A whole heap of football left, boss. So just because
Yeah,
see
but
what happens after the
let us
World
not
Cup.
all right, let us not bring across to the viewers that we all have 1/3. We are over 1/3. We are close to half of the season. So let's get that straight, right? We
No,
have some
we
teams have
still have a
played
lot of
18 games.
football.
Some teams have played 14 games,
Yeah,
right?
but that
And
doesn't change that we have a lot
remember
of
that some
football
of
to
the
be
teams that
played.
are competing within the top 4 are also not in Champions League, right? So you have prioritizing competitions. So Arsenal seems will have it a bit easier than the rest of teams, right? I'm seeing Levon come in. Levon, what you have to say?
We always
Yeah,
say Champions League
big up
when
to
we
the
this
man them.
and do that, and a lot of seasons have come and gone, and we don't see it happen. We see Leicester drop out of top 4 2 seasons running, and they were not in the Champions League.
Big
So we
point.
always use the teams that are in Champions League to say, oh,
And we
Champions
also
League
have seen
is going to
Leicester
affect them,
winning.
and it normally does not.
And we have also seen Leicester winning the EPL and they weren't in the Champions
Yeah,
League
that is
either.
a one-off. I'm talking
No,
about outside
Leicester
of
are
that.
one now. It can
When
happen
else
again.
have they come in the top 4? We have seen
Don't
them in the
happen
top
before. It
4
can happen again.
for many seasons, and then teams who are in the Champions League end up past them and get the top 4. So for me,
That's
Champions League, I don't think
because
Champions
the
League
reason, because if
affect.
you're going to have your first team like Arsenal, and Arsenal was competing in Champions League, right? They basically would have to start the same side 2 times per week. They don't have to do that in Europa.
I think
All
if
right, so
Arsenal was
yo,
in
me
the
get
Champions League, they would have maybe have 1
They
or 2
would have
more
to
players.
start the same side two times per week.
No, you're
all
assuming
right, so
that if
yo,
they
I'm gonna
were in the
jump so quick
Champions
because
League,
me
they would
not have
have the
enough
No, I'm
same
time.
assuming
amount of
that
players.
because based on the EPL so far, Arsenal squad depth is very thin, right? And
Yes,
they
but
need to
you're
start the
saying this.
same, start
No,
the
no,
level
Josh, you're
each
saying
season.
this against the backdrop that you think if Arsenal was in the Champions League, they would have the same players. Maybe they'd have 2 more players. You don't know
Not
Ryan,
that.
necessarily.
Ryan and
What
Jack,
we
two
hear
on the
all that,
point.
not necessarily.
Ryan and Jack, two on the point. Make Levant talk. Remember, say have
Yeah,
his cut
Levon,
out
what
back.
you're saying.
Credit I run out.
Levant talk, no man.
Man, credit chip out.
Being gone.
All right.
Levon, you mute, Levon, you mute.
Yeah, Levon mute. Any more comments on the top 4s, guys?
It's simple, Josh. All season, right? Or no, let me state this first. Because this is what I was gonna say before Levon was gonna come in. How many times you say Leicester win, a team like Leicester win the league? One time,
One.
true?
Yeah.
How many times a World Cup has ever been held at this time of the year before?
One.
Thank you. And it has not even happened yet because it's starting Sunday, right? So you see, everybody keeps on telling me, oh, this and that will happen. But guess what? As I said, all season, everybody has been waiting for Arsenal to falter. All season, people have been saying Newcastle going falter, right? Listen, you need too many teams to falter to allow the regular top 4 people to fill this slot. And it's simple. If one team can have injury, the same thing applies to every other team. You know why? Because it's the same type of football they play. It's called the English
Boss
Premier
man,
League.
at the end of the
What?
day, the
That's not
regular
the
top four
point.
is single digit behind.
Like that's not even the point.
I think
Like
they're
we
saying,
are
I think they're
everybody
saying
can get
shakes that
injured for. We are
they're one
talking
or
about
two players
replacements for
short
the injuries.
But
to the
hold on,
first team,
but
which is
even
reasonable.
but
Who
Josh,
is going
even
to replace? Who is going to replace Gabriel Jesus if him go down?
hold on,
Nketiah?
but me see a man come on other day for Arsenal and the man scored 2 goals after him feel say him just
Jesus
go
Christ!
and
Really?
sit
Really?
down for the bench.
Really?
Yes,
That's
yes,
where we're
really.
going now. Okay, all
But
right. Okay.
Hey,
hold on.
listen,
But aren't you
listen.
gonna work? Aren't you gonna work with the facts? It's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing like Garnacho for Manchester United. The man get game time, he score goal. So
Because
you
some
Yeah,
can't
person would say the confidence in the first 11 is actually transforming to the bench players.
exactly
yeah. But
as I
but
said, the
That's possible.
mentality at the club is listen. It's the same thing that applied to the Liverpool team when they were dominant for that 5-year stretch. Listen, everybody know that they never have world-class players throughout the team. They had a spine. That's what Bones talk about in terms
I'm
of
sorry, Bones. Bones, did you come on here and mention your squad depth as a reason why you don't think you can win the league?
what
Yes or
again?
no?
If what?
yeah,
Bones, Bones.
no,
Okay, all right. That's all I want to hear.
me
So
concern about my
Dima,
squad depth, yeah.
let me ask Dima the question, right? So
But
Dima, if you didn't
mhm.
mention that, would that be a bad point though? Because that's a good point for them not winning the league.
Huh? No, but
Even if
that's
you
what
said
I'm
that,
It's
would
an
that be a
saying.
bad
excuse.
point?
It's an excuse for them not winning the league.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
Hold
good excuse.
but listen,
on.
now, Jack, the advantage that Arsenal has. Listen, the advantage that Arsenal has. December 26th, West Ham comes to Arsenal after the World Cup, right? January 1st, which is the opening day of the January transfer window, we go away to Brighton, I think. Zin, Arsenal on top of the league. Arsenal will be on top of the league even if they lose to West Ham on January 1st, right? No, you challenging for the league at that point after the World Cup and have a few injuries. Who is more who is more likely to sign a couple top players at that point? Who will be more
Everybody,
attractive at that
everybody.
point? No, not everybody. Not everybody. Not
Why
everybody
not
right now.
everybody?
No,
All the big
not
clubs that has
everybody.
money.
Arsenal will have an advantage
Why?
going
Why?
into that January transfer because the mere fact that we are leading the league, the
That
mere
don't mean
fact of the
anything.
project.
You
That
don't
Listen,
think
means
that's a good
listen.
nothing.
Not only
move?
that, not only that.
That means
The
nothing.
project that we are presenting to young players, the manager, the entire club itself, the atmosphere around the club, everything has changed. Players want to be in that environment now compared
Bones,
to being in
Bones,
an
Bones,
environment.
being on
Bones.
top
Right. I
means
don't think as an
nothing in the
advantage, right?
window.
I don't think it's smart
Listen,
play if Arsenal decide to do so. They'll be very
listen,
smart. And
Arsenal,
if they're smart,
Arsenal.
they will go
Listen,
out in
Arsenal
January and
will
sign two
improve.
players.
Listen, Arsenal will improve their squad depth with quality players in January. They
Josh,
will improve it.
Josh,
Trust me.
If they're
They will
smart,
improve it.
they need
Me
to.
tell you the last week, Me tell you the last week, Arsenal have $150 million to spend January, if needs be, So
all
the
right,
better
me not
steal
really
the
know
money
about
that
it.
they there,
Me not really know about the 150 million.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know
But
about
guess
the
what? But Josh,
because
let me ask
we
you
could just
this
go with
objectively.
experience based on Arsenal owners and the fact that they're generally mean, but
Let me ask you
we
this
don't know if that has
objectively,
changed.
Josh.
Yes, sir.
If you had to pick between Arsenal, the current top four, so Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle, Tottenham, as a destination come January 1st, based on what you know right now, today, where would you go?
I know so football go Bones.
No,
I know
I mean,
boards.
shit,
I know
shit,
boards. I
shit.
shake.
hold on. I
I
said
know so
right
football go
now.
shit.
I said right now. So Ryan, remember, I know you're looking at the project. You're looking at what each manager going to tell you, what the club have to offer. I'm asking you, what would you choose? Which club would you choose right now?
Tottenham have Champions League offering right now. Chelsea have Champions League offering right now. Man, you have money offering. It depends. It don't. I know so football go. You
For
can't just look
example,
at the
Shakes,
table
right?
and say,
So if
"Oh,
again,
Arsenal is at the top of the
But
table, so I
Ryan,
am going to Arsenal." That's not how
Ryan,
it goes.
but Ryan, you do realize that footballers are humans just the same, and they have a mind
Yes,
that
but
works. So
and I'm
that's why I'm
saying to
asking.
you,
That's why I'm
I am
asking the
saying to you
question.
that Chelsea currently is in eighth. They have Champions League to offer. Arsenal at the top, they don't have that to offer. Newcastle
Project
have
is
money
more
to up.
attractive.
Yo, me attack.
Which
Newcastle.
project is more
Oi,
attractive?
let me speak. Newcastle have money to offer. Tottenham has Champions League to offer. So it's not so football, but you can't just say, oh, that team is at the top, so that player going to go at that
All
team
right.
because that
And
team
Ryan,
is
if
there.
I
So.
am a player, and Ryan, hold on, Shakes, if I am a player looking at the Chelsea project, and if on the Champions League you can offer me, I am not coming to Chelsea.
You
That
don't
is the
know
only
that.
thing.
That's why
Because
you
you
have
don't have no
agents.
project over
That's
there.
why
You don't have
players
that
have
attractive over
agents.
Chelsea. What do you
That's
have
why
over
players
Chelsea
have
to attract me?
agents. That's why players have agents who make smart decisions for them.
Bones,
What-
perhaps players
Ryan?
could look at the fact that Graham Potter is building something new at Chelsea now, right? He's going to rebuild something new, so and I want to be part of that long-term project.
Exactly.
Again, who is Graham Potter? Who is Graham Potter that I should? Who is Graham Potter that
Same
I
person,
should choose
same
Chelsea?
person
perhaps
Mikel
That I
Arteta is.
should choose Chelsea over going to Antonio Conte.
Same person that Arteta is an unproven coach.
I never call Arteta name. I call
I
Conte
call it
name.
though. I call it.
I call Conte name.
I call it.
Okay.
Yes, Shakes, you were saying something. What are you
But
saying,
you know,
Shakes?
but you know, really and truly, the question has not been answered because
No, but you can't answer that question. Don't need an answer.
No, but what do you mean? Yeah, but hold on, Ryan.
No, you're asking us here who are not players.
Ryan,
We are
hold on,
not players.
hold on,
Listen,
Ryan.
we are not players. We
Ryan.
don't have agents. We don't have
Ryan,
agents to
hold
tell
on.
us to choose.
Ryan.
That question is irrelevant.
Hold on. No, because guess what? You give your opinion on other things just the same. So I am asking you if you were in a player's shoes.
I don't know. That's my answer. I don't know. I go to my agent. I make my agent negotiate for me. Players don't make those decisions. Agents do.
But how that
for the most part.
But how that answer even makes sense? Because it's just like if you're in the corporate world and you have to pick between a company, you're going.
You don't have you have an agent in the corporate world, Shakes. You're trying to make an equivalency that don't make sense.
Ryan, seriously? In the corporate world, everybody looks at pros and cons with joining a company.
In the corporate world, I send out my resume and apply for a job. In the football world, that's not the same thing.
Right.
Demo, what's your view on that?
Boss, me honestly don't know what the point is right here, so I just want to move on. I don't know what this leading to. This is a very rabbit hole. I don't really know what's going on.
All right,
yeah,
Demo,
you wouldn't know.
All right, Demo, give me your views on the Leicester West Ham game quickly.
Leicester West Ham. What was the result of that?
2-0 away for West Ham.
2-0 Leicester.
Oh yeah, Madison scored and got hurt. Oh yes, I remember that. Listen, West Ham, they're in a bad way right now. I don't know if they're going to keep Moyes. He looks to really be in trouble at the moment. Leicester were the better team on the day as they're on the up. That's what another clean sheet for Danny Ward, who started out so shaky, and everybody says a high school goalkeeper, former Liverpool goalkeeper, of course. And yeah, they're just on a roll. Brendan Rodgers has them playing a lot better. Madison, I don't know if it was a tactic to come off early for save himself for the World Cup. I'm joking, but I hope that he'll be fine for the World Cup. He has been an inspiration for them, and yeah, that team is just trending in the right direction, while West Ham are not at the moment. So big win for them, and the train goes marching on.
All right, Ryan, give me your views on the Spurs Leeds game, 4-3 victory.
Spurs Leeds game. It went better than I thought. I expected Spurs to absorb, try and hit on the counter and all that, but Spurs, I think when I check in the 80th minute, Spurs had more possession. I don't know how the game ended in terms of possession, but it was surprising for me. I never expect so much goals. I had 4 goals scoring on Leeds. Okay, fine. That can happen. That happens a lot. But I mean, in terms of the game itself, Spurs conceding 3 and scoring 4, I never really expected that. And I never expected Spurs to be so attacking. So it was a welcome surprise. I know that they went behind, so they had no choice. They went behind, right?
Yes,
they came back 3 times. Yeah. So they had no choice but to play how they played.
And it seems that they play better that way when they are behind.
Yeah, because they have no choice.
Yeah, it seems like they play better that way.
Yeah, so normally when they have no choice, they play football. So hopefully they continue to have no choice, so they can play some football this season.
Bones, Nottingham Crystal Palace, 1-0. Nottingham Forest, they seems to be on the up with results lately. What you thought about that game?
Honestly, another game where you're thinking maybe maybe the game did not, merit the team that won. Newcastle, they were good, but again, just like Everton, they having the same problem. They don't have anybody to score for them. I know that. I think it was this game, if I'm not mistaken, that Zaha missed a penalty, right?
Yep,
And
as usual.
yeah, and he missed a few opportunities as well. I was watching the highlights. He missed some really good opportunity. Listen, Crystal Palace could have buried this game 3-0. I know Kems was talking about lockout and whatever. If Crystal Palace was clinical enough in front of goal on Saturday, they would have won easily. So it come like it was deja vu with Nottingham Forest, but this time it was in Crystal Palace instead of Liverpool. That was it.
Bones, not miss some easy chance though,
Well,
especially
yeah,
Lingard.
that's true. But when you look on the balance of play, the opportunities that Newcastle that Crystal Palace got were in critical moments of the game where they could have really went on to win the game. But credit to Nottingham Forest, they did well. They did well. They are on the up again. As I continue to say, if you want to stay in this league, you have to beat who is in front of you, and that's what they did on Saturday. And yeah, they are on the up. They're really getting there now. I still don't think they have enough to stay up yet, but we'll see how the next half of the season goes.
Sheikh, so I think about one of the big games for the day, Newcastle versus Chelsea.
Oh, you shouldn't ask
Newcastle
me
winning.
that. If you ask Ryan about him.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about that game as well. Since
Oh.
he's a Chelsea fan, but what do you thought about that game?
Oh, well, for me, Chelsea dysfunctional. Chelsea has been dysfunctional in terms of from Thomas Tuchel was there, right? And that has carried over.
Before that,
Yeah, naturally from Lampard, really and truly, right? So the dysfunction, in terms of the whole team dynamic, it's not there. They just a squad of players, right? If you want to draw a parallel, you can pick out Los Angeles Lakers, and you can put Chelsea in the same bag, spin them around. You get a lovely mixture.
Shakes, hold your point. Josh, let him Kems. Go on, talk shit.
Yeah.
Shakes.
So yeah. For me, at the end of the day, Newcastle riding a wave. Even when you think that Newcastle not going to win a game, as I said, listen, they just have the right manager, they have the right team dynamic, they're confident in terms of what they do. The players play as a team. If you know you're playing against a dysfunctional team like Chelsea and you're playing at home, you take your chances. And
Mr. Host, why never wait 45 minutes to come in, Mr. Host? I don't understand what I'm going on.
No, I never see your video, sorry.
Sorry, shit.
Yeah, my apologies.
That's fine.
Your opponents are talking about a madness over here. I tell you, say nothing, I'm going to lock them out. I tell you, say it's going to be a 1-0 game. Obviously Zaha missed the penalty, but that is Zaha business. I'm saying I'm going to lock them out, but go ahead, Shakes.
And they lock them out for two because Palace never had one shot on target. But go ahead, Shakes.
Yeah. So as I said, dysfunctional team. Newcastle took a good goal through Joe Willock. At the end of the day, you know that somebody pointed out Chris Wood's name because Callum Wilson was not there. I leave that alone, but guess what? Newcastle has not been all season about Callum Wilson scoring, right? He has played well, but overall, the Newcastle team, they have goals all around the park, right? And that's always important. So that even when a player or two might be dry in terms of goal scoring, through a little drought, you have other players that can step up. So this week it was Joe Willock on the score sheet, and that bodes well going for the rest of the season, right? Because at the end of the day, everybody's confident. And as I said, Newcastle ain't having anybody that really going to the World Cup apart from Mr. Wilson himself.
Saint Max not going to the World Cup.
Trippier.
And Trippier is good.
Trippier, Pope.
Yeah, as in no, me not talk about the forward line. Me not talk about the rest of the. Not really talk about the rest of the team. I talk
So,
Are the forward line alone important? Me not understand.
feel and forward.
Make
It's
Trippier
only,
get injured now, you see it's not
it's
important.
Exactly.
Bruno. It's only Bruno. It's
Make
only
Pope
Bruno.
get injured now, you see what happen?
so Shakes,
Bruno Guimaraes.
It's only Bruno.
Shakes,
Yeah,
let me
I
ask a
just call his
question.
name. It's just
So
Bruno.
Shakes, so Saint Max not going to the World Cup?
Oh.
I know my baller that. I know my baller.
No,
boss.
I
That's Dima
understand.
baller.
May I
Me
ask you?
know, yeah, throw it up.
Let's look up to that question, Ryan.
What
What
a
you talking about
ridiculous,
that?
Yeah, I
what a
mean,
ridiculous
You know, we
question.
are
On
just-
Friday, I said Newcastle will win. So the match was nothing that I did not expect. Chelsea has been a dysfunctional team, a team in transition for the past, from transfer ban, from Lampard came there, from Sarri left. Chelsea has been that team. They have added players, but they have just added players for adding players' sake. I see a comment saying, Michelle saying, too much chopping and changing. That has been ever so since Thomas Tuchel was there. There was never a settled 11 with Tuchel either. Hudson-Odoi in, Hudson-Odoi out. Havertz in, Havertz out. Pulisic in, Pulisic out. Even with Lampard, it was the same thing. The players are not consistent in terms of their performance. So you can't really have a settled team per se with players underperforming and nobody is really staying on form for any period of time and all of that. So it has to be that way until we get the right players in the right positions and we don't have square pegs in round hole kind of business going on. So I mean, this was expected. I never expected Chelsea to win, but Chelsea, even though as I said, they have been that team for the past 3-4 years, they still find a way to make it to the Champions League. So, but I don't know if this season will be the same thing. That remains to be seen. What you going to ask me now, Kim?
So Ryan, let me ask a question because this is very interesting. So if you are the owner of a company and you know that your company have some deficiencies, right? If you're going to hire a general manager or a president of operations or whatever it is to oversee that company, wouldn't you say that you're hiring him to quote unquote hide the deficiencies of the company? Yes.
You're asking me this against the backdrop of what?
No. I'm just yes or no. I'm just asking a question.
General question.
Okay, general question, yes. So now
Okay.
explain your question. I don't
Okay.
understand it.
Kim's
So-
a try to chop you, you know.
No. But I said it to him. The other day. Say, I believe that's why I'm not want a coach excuse. Listen, we can look at many clubs right now, even right now at Manchester United. I don't think Manchester United have a team balance how it's supposed to balance. But again, we see a coach coming in and he's implementing stuff to quote unquote try and hide the multiple deficiencies that.
Did that coach get a window? Did he get a window or did he not get a window? Answer the question.
Did who get a window?
Did Ten Hag get a transfer window? Did he bring in any players?
Again, okay, yeah.
No,
So
yes or
he got
no.
a
Did he
window.
bring in any players?
Yeah, he brought in a couple of players.
Okay, cool. So he brought in a couple of players to help hide some of the deficiencies, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's
All
all I'm
right.
on.
So my thing is, right, why take a job? And the always have to ask this. You know you're not gonna have no transfer window right now. Why take a job now if you know that the team is quote unquote not balanced or not where it's supposed to be?
Because you're going to get a window 2 months later.
Okay, but I believe that Chelsea has enough quality right now on paper. They have enough quality right now to be putting out a better display than they have been putting out.
Chelsea have names on paper. Chelsea have names on paper that have gotten them to the Champions League and won them a title. Chelsea has never had a strong squad per se that you say, oh, this squad is strong. Even when they won the Champions League, Chelsea was a unbalanced team. It was just a team that Tuchel got, and he hid the deficiencies. But then when he brought in players, what happened after that? Them start playing sideways football. The team did not improve.
Okay, but understand that. But what may I say is, what is, because I hear that Graham Potter is the best English manager.
Nobody said that. Maybe Levan was the only one who said that. Apart from that, nobody.
Do you say it too?
Okay, but you're using that against a Chelsea fan.
No.
Chelsea fan said that.
No, I'm not using it to make a point. I'm just saying they said that he's one of the best managers out there. So I'm saying
yeah, he still is. He's one of the best. Yeah, sure.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that what I've seen from him thus far, right? And they can tell me, oh no, transfer with the blah 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 blah, right? But what I've seen him thus far, just as a leader of a team, it's just not there.
And that's fair.
And it seems like it's a bunch of confusion. But I'm saying, at least make me see what Chelsea is doing.
It has always been a bunch of confusion, Kems. From Chelsea has not played any football for a calendar year now. You realize that?
Probably not.
Okay.
Tuchel
for 2022, Chelsea was way ahead, which is why they end up getting top 4. We had such a big cushion and we almost lost it at the end.
But just like Pepe Paul in the comment section about Chelsea squad weak, I think that question is directed at Ryan. I agree with Pepe Paul as well. I don't think Chelsea have a weak squad. In terms of the last 2 years, I've always had Chelsea squad be the second strongest behind Manchester City.
Chelsea, somebody asked if Chelsea squad weak. They're in terms of the names, no, but it's not an impressive. It's not an impressive squad. Chelsea don't have a star player per se. Like you will look at City and say, okay, that man is Kevin De Bruyne is the star man there, so and Haaland is a star man there. Chelsea don't have that. You look at Arsenal now, you can say, okay, that man is that man, and Chelsea have a bunch of collective names. They don't really have a stardust. They don't really have a stardust per se in terms of, okay, this player is the leader of the front line and so forth and so forth. We don't have that. We just have names and paper.
Okay, so what was the purpose of? All right, what would you say about the Raheem Sterling purchase? Do you think that was a good acquisition?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Raheem Sterling, but you have to also understand, Sterling plays better with a cast. Sterling was bought to be the main man, in terms of the leader of the team. But at the end of the day, have we seen Sterling being the leader as yet? Sterling played better with a cast, hasn't he?
Okay, but that was one of the concerns that I raised here when I say I really don't know how Sterling going to perform in this Chelsea team.
Do you think that he's a system player?
Right. I think so.
Like some persons were saying.
Most players are system players.
So if he's not,
what does that mean?
I think they're
most players are system players.
I think that they're trying to say it doesn't really have anything in any great impact individually, like can change a game. That was the argument before. Do you agree?
What's that?
That he can't change a game individually with his skill set.
No, we all know that.
But there's not many players out there in the world that can do that.
Okay,
exactly.
So do you agree that? So you said that most players, I think that are system players.
I believe so. Yeah. That's why they are bought to play in a system.
Okay. All right. Our last.
You're not going to say bet by Ben me.
Our last game on Saturday was Arsenal with that away win to Wolves, and after hearing that City had lost early in the morning, then Arsenal needed to win that game to extend their lead. Bones, Mr. Arsenal, what you made of that game?
It was a game of Arsenal really dominated the game again from minute number 1 to minute 98. We weren't as fluent as we normally would be And this is where I come back now and I draw back to referencing back the first point I made tonight with players who are going to the World Cup. Players who are not going to the World Cup playing for players who are going to the World Cup. I absolutely believe that Saka was absolutely reserved throughout the game. The same a little bit with Martinelli, a little bit reserved in the first half. Partey, I doubt if Partey made a tackle in this
But I
game.
get a yellow card. What get yellow card for?
Who Partey for foolishness, for pull on a man.
I never tackle him a tackle.
A tackling tackle, but what a man get with funny man, he just kick him on foot.
Interesting.
Me not talk about that. Me not talk about that. Me talk about Partey, the normal Partey where you would have see a going a 50-50. You never see that Saturday.
That is the
If not
normal
do it,
party.
eh? Him not
That
do
is
it.
the
I don't know.
normal party.
Talk about my team. Let me talk about my
No,
team.
but no, you can talk about your team, but don't be disingenuous.
But no, I'm not being disingenuous. I am talking what I know about my players. And one of the things is Partey always try to break up 50-50 challenge. He did not attempt one on Saturday. Saka was below par. Martinelli was below par. Right? Well,
Everybody will get picked for World Cup was below par, right?
yes, basically
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Anyways,
No, you know why they were below par.
two men step up in that game. Well, three. Gabriel was really good at the back.
Who is not going World Cup?
Who is not going World Cup. Zinky was really good at left back.
Who's not
right?
going World Cup?
Not going World Cup. And of course, our captain who scored a double.
Who is not going World
Who's
Cup?
not going World Cup?
World Cup.
No, you said the common denominator.
Yeah. So basically you're debunking Kem's point then, bro.
Well, so let me ask a question, Sherwin. Let me just ask a question. Against Southampton on the 23rd of October, was Saka subpar in that game?
In that game versus Southampton, no.
He was.
No, he wasn't.
His rating for that game was a 4.
His rating from who?
What do you mean?
Tell me who.
These people who rate the game, what may I see right here? So,
Who scored? Who?
Martinelli. Was Martinelli? Hold on, I'll tell you soon. Was Martinelli subpar?
No.
Subpar again. Like, this is how me look. This is how me look on right here. Look. This is how me look on right here. Martinelli looks like a player who's not been one of Arsenal's best players in this game. Look out of touch. This is how me Sky Sports, boss. Sky Sports.
Which is Sky Sports are Gary Neville the pan and Jamie Carragher.
Again.
Again. Man.
So Sherwin, me prefer listen to Sky Sports than you. That's what I'm saying. So again, yeah, and I'm getting the analysis behind what these persons are saying. Not only, no, Saka. What Saka do?
Are you talking about the Sky Sports that one of their analysts have Arsenal dropping 20 points over the next 24 games? Is that the Sky Sports we're talking about?
Okay.
Were they the ones who did the rating?
Opinion? You mean he's giving his opinion?
Were they the ones who did the
So
rating?
hold on. Let me ask you a question. So hold on. So a man on Sky Sports who are giving opinion just because he come from the white world and we there are giving opinion. What makes it any different?
We are
Yeah, man, chime in right now because long time that tried it and I try to go on, man. But never look at time now. Sherwin, you see him at the beginning, draw for Gary Neville as reference points, and nobody tried.
Yeah,
You do it.
you're lucky I listen to Sherwin.
So let me just tell you this straight up. Yo, Martinelli has been rubbish for the past couple of games. That is one of the main reasons I take that man out of my FPL side. Saka has been consistently inconsistent.
This man I tell me about Saka. The man was horrible against Southampton. The only time I know a Saka play and when the referee give him a yellow card. That was the only time. The man was horrible. So again, I tell you,
all right. Watch him. Besides the price, he has been one of our best players this season. Give me a chance, let me talk about my team. He has been one of our best players this current season.
None of us. Not a thing, so.
One up.
Yeah, man.
Not a thing, so. That man, they're about 7 best best players this season. You can name one that is way better. You understand?
Really?
Yeah, I'm start.
Really? Go on, name it.
I don't think man when scoring in the last 10 games has been better than Saka this season. Jesus better than him, Odegaard better than him, Martinelli better than him, Ramsdale better than him, Ben White,
The man at
Same Gabriel where you cuss out, Thomas Partey, Xhaka, don't do it.
No, me disagree with you. Me disagree with you.
Disagree too.
Me disagree with you big time. Saka has been a big influence of what we do on that pitch every
Foolishness.
single weekend we go out there. Every
Yeah, watch your
weekend.
team and you now watch your team.
I think
Why
all
you
the
think I
Arsenal
watch
players
the
are
team?
actually. I think basically all the Arsenal players are playing well. Most of
Well,
them. They're
Brother,
really-
Saka has been below par. No make bones sell nothing. Saka has been below par
There
this
might be
season.
one or
if
two.
you're going to
but
say
most of them playing well.
if you're going to say Levan that Saka has been below par based on how he has performed over the last 2 seasons, then fine. I believe that. I sincerely believe that as well. However, he's not our worst player, and he's actually very effective. Who was it against that he I think it was against Crystal Palace that he stepped up. He stepped up against Crystal Palace this
You
season.
find out one match. Give me one more.
He stepped up against Tottenham. He stepped up against Chelsea. He's
Which part?
He's
He
been
stepped
there.
up against Southampton with the yellow
Stepped up
card.
against Leicester.
Don't
He
forget that.
stepped up against Leicester. So don't come to me about no Southampton. I can point out 2 games well, all right. At the Southampton games, 2 games this season, Saka has been really below par. And it was against Southampton. If you want to say that, I'm going to give you that, Kems. Run with it. You're happy now. All right, yeah? And Sunday pass versus whoever we did play, Wolves. It was below par, and it
In
wasn't
the start this season, shaky still. And then
in the start this season, we're very
so
shaky.
more than 2 games.
Well, yeah.
Exactly. Yo, Sherwin, I remember say it wasn't until he play against United in Broken Ducks of the season. So we talk about the man that play poor up until that point. Sherwin, type of madness. United him score against and Broken Ducks of the season.
Yes, but he was creating.
Create one man, stop that madness, brother.
He's what now? 4 goals, 5 assists or something like that. It's really after the United game him step up and start get him goal in my system.
Back to my point when I try to make. Zine, all of these players that are named on Saturday are going to the World Cup. They were below par. This was Saliba's worst game I see him play. Zine, it's a good thing Ramsdale not play on the field, because if he play outfield, he would have a poor game too. Zine,
why was Saliba bad?
It was bad. A lot of misjudgments again. Not going.
He said why? He said why?
No, I'm telling you, a lot of misjudgments. Right? He wasn't that presence that you saw a couple games back. You know.
You're lying.
Jesus have mercy.
The man make one bad back pass.
Different game watch.
The reason why I'm asking, because I remember that back pass, and I remember when Boone started this, Arsenal were supposed to be dominant from ball minute 1 to minute 90. So if him defender was so bad,
no,
just want to understand.
You guys were not.
Eh?
No, but brother, with 2 centre back play in the half of Wolves for almost 88 minutes of the game.
So the Saliba back pass no count for nothing.
No, of course it count. That's what I'm saying. It's bad. It's bad. No, seconds down.
Adrian Nicholson saying
10
that's
seconds.
the worst game for the season.
It was.
Let me tell you.
You know who was strong? Let me tell you. Wait. You know who was strong? Who is going to the World Cup? Ben White again. Strong.
Okay.
Yeah, can not start. Everybody else was starting with.
You understand? But my point is, the players that are going to the World Cup, they were below par. Apart from Ben White and Gabriel Jesus, because him don't know nothing else more than for run up on them.
So basically, you're debunking Kim's theory then.
That one. Name of Josh one.
Yeah. Is there a theory that he was talking about? He doesn't know if World Cup is having an effect on the tentative plays by players from the teams.
But again,
you're debunking that then.
Josh, what I'm saying is that, listen, what may I say, right? I am saying I can't make the direct correlation to the World Cup coming, and this is why they're playing that, because it is not like it's the first time I'm seeing these players play like this. And on the first time I see Saka support. And on the first time I see Martinelli support. But again, just because, and this is how we're quote unquote built to think. Okay, this important event will come up. So say for example, me have a wedding that come up, right? And then I'm gonna get a lineup and the wedding will come up, so I'm gonna get a lineup. But this is something we do every single week. So I think it's the same thing here. So just because the World Cup will come up, such a big important event, if we see any hesitancy in a player's play, we have attributed to the World Cup. Oh, and because of the World Cup, why can't pass a ball?
So we should attribute City playing that way to the World Cup.
But I'm saying I've seen City play that way before.
Yeah. Of course, I can see it before. You watch them hundreds of times, so it has happened before. But we are talking about Saturday.
Just in the Fulham game, right before that game, City came out the same exact way. The same exact way, and I've seen.
Okay, the week before the World Cup. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
listen. Another team. Me never want to jump the gun, but another team that players where we come of the 16 players going to the World Cup that were below par Saturday was Sunday was Manchester United as well.
Yep.
Coming to that game, Dima, what do you make of that?
So you tell me that's a coincidence.
I wouldn't say that because
so we're not. You're gonna tell me, say, you're gonna tell. So Kems, you're gonna tell me, say, Kems, you're gonna tell me, say, it was a coincidence that the top players from Arsenal were going to the World Cup. Man City, that's going to the World Cup. Man United and Chelsea going to the World Cup. Even though Chelsea team, whatever, say what no one say about them. You're gonna tell me, say, it's a coincidence that all of them just pour 1 week. In the same week.
So all my World Cup players them never perform, but
because you're the all the way at 7th or 8th, we never see you. It's
no, we're actually 6. But Alisson was outstanding, Van Dijk was outstanding. These players were really good.
Martinez for United was outstanding. Ericsson, what do you mean?
Manchester United was poor yesterday.
I said Martinez was outstanding.
Oh, he's talking about individual players.
I'm talking about individual players.
Okay.
Pointing who was outstanding.
I think so. And the thing, I don't think Rashford was tentative in the game. But see, I was begging Rashford for calm down because every minute we see him up on the ground and holding.
I wanted him to come off.
I say Rashford.
I was begging for him to be stopped.
Rashford, what you do? Like the come off. Right, Rashford was out there going 50-50 balls and all of that. So again, like there's no definitive thing for me to say, oh well, because of the World Cup. I mean, obviously.
But Kems, with 4 teams, 5 top teams, and you tell me say nothing click to you all now.
Kems, not because it don't happen to everybody means I not it are the reason. It might some players operate different than others.
Kems, listen, you say you tried to pull an analogy about a wedding. Guess what? A man and a woman can get married 1,000,000 times, meaning you can decide to put off your wedding today, tomorrow. You can get married, it can happen again, whatever. You see, a World Cup, it only happens in a cycle once every 4 years.
Okay.
And even if you think you have the opportunity to go to another World Cup because you use a wedding, you can literally get married 365 days and a quarter if you liked.
Shakes.
My time.
Shakes.
Anytime in a year. But guess what? The World Cup only happens for 6 weeks every 4 years.
Or actually.
And guess what?
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
It's actually 4.
4 weeks, but in terms of the span, right? In terms of getting there and the end. So it's a 6-week period, right? So that only happens every 4 years. And even if you want to say, yeah, a man can go to another World Cup, guess what? He can get injured again. When the next ask Marco Royce about it, he is yet to go to a major tournament because he's
him go last World Cup and score, man.
Marco Royce?
Sweden.
Marco Royce?
No,
yes, Marco Royce. Yes,
the 2-1 win against Sweden last World Cup, he scored.
In the World Cup, didn't he miss?
No, Marco Royce. Germany never played Sweden at the last
Marco
World Cup.
Royce.
No, man. You never did the last World Cup, Brian.
Marco
Yes.
Reus, Germany.
Germany won 2-1 that game, and he played against Sweden and scored.
He wasn't
Marco
at. He
Reus.
wasn't at.
Somebody
US.
remind me of it last week. I'm a check. I'm
I'm checking it. I'm
realize that
checking
too.
it.
Mr. Host, check because me
Yeah,
can't
man.
remember
So
Marco
this,
Reus.
It's
this is the
last week. Somebody
tournament
remind me.
injured.
I'm a check. I realize that's true. That is
Well,
why I remember.
Marco Reus
I
has
never remember either shakes.
always injured for every tournament. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, listen, it has to be in the back of your
Yes, he
mind.
was.
It have to be in the back of your mind at the end of the day in terms of the possibility of injuries. Because as I said, even if it's a minor tweak, the minor tweak can take 2 weeks. And you see, not starting at the World Cup, if you know you are likely to be a starter, means that guess what? You see, if a man go and start play good, really and truly, the tournament is so short, You have 3 group games and the possibility of extending to 7 games overall. So really and truly, you want to ensure that you are starting from the beginning.
So
So
Martinelli
Levan, he
starting.
was. He scored in the game against Sweden. In the 48 minutes. So he was.
Yeah. We don't. There's no fake talk.
I live on a Germany fan, and I remember that.
He was, man. He scored. Yeah, the German. They said that the Germany fan need a beating around here. You're supposed to remember him by
So me
that
can't,
team.
me can't finish with me game now.
Yes, Bones, finish.
Oh, okay, thank you. Kakems love interrupt when Bones are talking. I don't know how you love me so much. Jeez. Woo. Anyways, it was a sturdy performance by Arsenal. We needed to win the game, but a lot of Arsenal fans probably were feeling like, all right, even if we don't win, whatever, we're still in front, and that's good, right? Because City lost. But the most important thing for this Arsenal team is because of how small the squad is right now, and everybody waiting on us to drop or falter or whatever the case is, yeah? Every opportunity that Arsenal get to push in front of Manchester City, they have to take it. We missed that opportunity versus Southampton, which would have probably put us 7 points in front right now, which would have been really good. But on Sunday, I felt like we came out second half. We run clinical first half. I think we had like probably 1 shot on target first half or 0, something like that. And and we came out second half and we really started to be more creative up front through Odegaard and Zinke, who was just flying down that left hand side, and creating opportunities for us. And thanks to the captain, he stepped up. He scored 2 really important goals for us, and that pushed us 5 points in front of City. And the Arsenal can dwell on the fact that January 1st you will still be leading the league with the possibility of even extending your lead or keeping that 5-point lead come January 1st.
Arsenal now lose no game, right?
So, jeez, me tell you say you love me. Happy jumping,
Me no hear you say. The only thing me hear say Arsenal keeping that 5-point lead or extending the 5-point lead. There's no possibility of the lead shrinking.
I think he was just making reference to come January.
January. January me I talk about.
So there's Boxing Day game and then there's January 1st game. Them
Yeah,
can't
and
lose
that's
the
what I'm
Boxing Day.
saying. And that's what I said.
Yeah, no, because earlier in the show, James, remember he was talking about he expects them to win the game on Boxing Day.
Yes. Yeah.
So and I'm also thinking that he's saying Man City will win the game.
Boxing Day.
Our next game, guys, because time is running out, was Brighton at home to Villa. They lost that game 2-1. Dima, what do you mean of that game?
Brighton, Aston Villa.
Yeah,
I have
2-1
to try and recall. I don't remember the game.
Your former boy Danny Hings scored 2 goals. They win the 1-2-1. A penalty included.
Yeah, man,
away. It was on Sunday morning.
I don't remember the game. I don't remember the game. Make shakes up.
So anybody want to talk about that game? Shakes?
A pretty good game in terms of overall 2-1 pretty decent reflection of the game. Brighton got an early goal, 49 seconds into the game. Mistake in terms of defensive error. Keeper passing it out right into at the edge of the box, right? 50-50 challenge. Some people might say it's a foul, but for me, 50-50 challenge. McAllister going and slotting it in. Martinez, of course, the culprit. But at the end of the day, Aston Villa stayed in the game. Listen, at the end of the day, it was just two chances in terms of two shots on target for both teams, right? So it was really a 50-50 game, if you want to look on it that way. Even though Brighton pressured them for long periods after Ings got his two goals. Well taken penalty, right, and a brilliant second goal. But even with the pressure that Brighton exerted on them, say from the 55th minute, 68th minute until about the 85th minute, because I think there was about 8 minutes time added on. Cause listen, talk about time wasting. All Aston Villa did in that game was waste time. Like there were about 6 or 7 yellow cards that were shown to the Aston Villa players. Ridiculous time wasting, right? Man just a drop on the ground, ridiculous fouls, goalkeeper waste time, man getting a yellow card for throw, and then something there. Like it was just nonsense, right? But Aston Villa wanted the result, and the sort of anti-football tactics that Aston Villa demonstrated in that game is really because of who is managing them.
That's true.
It's as simple as that.
That's true.
Unai Emery is excellent at doing that. I've seen my team play another team that he has coached, and them do the same thing in the Europa League, right? Time wasting. They do the same. Them kill football games.
Yeah,
Just
to frustrate the opponent.
I know, right? That's just his tactic, right? And they were able to do that. They were able to do that. So really and truly, even with the little pressure that Brighton they were exerting, they held their shape plus their theatrics. They were able to hold on in terms of at the end of the day.
So shit. Okay, so I'm gonna hear you talk about Aston Villa best defender.
Me not do that, please. Me don't want to do stuff.
No,
No
we
one just next.
no, no. We have to talk up because some man come and talk
He was
about them
bad.
ball.
He was bad. Him lose the ball and
No,
get
no,
a
I'm not
yellow
talking
card.
about that guy. I'm talking about Cancer. He was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
on
man. He was the
Saturday.
best. Clearly the best defender, easily.
Clearly.
Cause
Alright.
some man will lose ball and get yellow card, and them something.
Bro,
What do you guys
Aston Villa, hold on 1 second, Josh. Aston Villa play what? Like 14 games so far? Or 15? And out of those games, Kansa was
Has
terrible.
been way better than Mings.
No, shut up. You know you're lying.
By
You know you're
far.
lying.
Way better than Mings. By
Kansa
far.
been terrible in at least 12 of those games.
You
So
don't
this
know what
one game-
Consta look like then.
So this one game where I say, oh, he was fabulous. or
One
whatever.
game.
Yeah, take it and run with. Take it and run with. I
What
don't
you
even,
guys,
I don't
what
even
you
need
guys
to
made
talk
of our
about.
last game for the day? Manchester United away to Fulham. Anyone?
Manchester United was really poor. Fulham deserved that point out of the game. That me I say.
The two United fans, shakes.
I would say I would say this simply. Manchester United were wasteful. It's as simple as that. They were wasteful in the game. For me, they weren't as cohesive as they should have been throughout the game. Even if you want to say, yeah, the World Cup coming around, I don't see why we should be going to Fulham and being dominated by Fulham. At
I
the
agree.
end of the day. It's as simple as that. If you tell me that way, if you tell me that you're climbing the ladder, listen, it don't matter what Fulham had, they've been decent all season. But guess what? If you are using a metric and the metric is yourself, then you played a poor game against Fulham because you're really comparing what you've done, like in terms of playing the best football this season against like Tottenham versus coming to Fulham now and playing this sort of trash.
But Shakes, really quick Shakes, to be fair, Fulham outplayed the league leaders, if we're being honest and fair.
Yeah, but you did say that they were flat on that day. That's what you said.
Huh?
You said Man
No,
City.
league leaders, not the champ, not City. I'm Arsenal.
Oh, Arsenal.
Fulham out.
My apologies.
Oh, the game finish again.
No, I think Arsenal win like 3-2, I think, or something like that.
2-1.
2-1, yeah. And remember, Mitrovic come out and say, it was a lucky blah, 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 blah. And there was a bunch of controversy, in the game. But Fulham really and truly outplayed Arsenal. And if Bones is honest, he'll say yes.
And also, Kimsey, I realized that Fulham this season has played very well against all the big teams.
Yeah, they have.
They tried 2-2 with Liverpool. They should have probably won the game against
outplayed Liverpool.
Yeah, they outplayed Liverpool. They outplayed Arsenal. They outplayed United. They basically outplayed City.
Yeah, but guess what? But you see, a key component to that team would have been Mitrovic. Mitrovic was missing yesterday, so therefore he's a big part of their team in terms of how they play.
Boy, but Shakes, how great Paulina was, brother.
No, I know, because he was critical in that midfield. The man make Casemiro and everybody look like say them no know what to do.
That's true.
Football, no.
That's true.
And that's why I'm saying, for me, in terms of you just using Manchester United, in terms of using yourself versus yourself as the metric, I believe we were poor in the game. Even if you want to say Fulham, they were very good. But guess what? As you say, it's one man name you really calling. At the end of the day, in terms of the man literally run the midfield, win back the ball for them, pressure us. But why one man shouldn't pressure the whole
It was
team?
one man. Willian was excellent too.
As he has been since he has been at Fulham.
For some reason, Malaysia.
I wouldn't really say he was excellent,
He was very good, man. I don't like William.
No,
and Bobby Reid, and up until the goal, Bobby Reid was great as well.
Yes, I was just about to say that.
Up until he cost them the goal, Bobby Reid was awesome, boss.
But if you say that, then clearly the Manchester United team was poor.
But we said that.
No. I know, but Kems was disagreeing.
And surprisingly, yesterday, Manchester United was playing a lot of long balls.
Yeah.
Which was kind of very, very surprising.
Yep.
Knowing that type of coach, ETH. Anybody else, Ryan?
No, not really. They were bad. Nothing else.
And guess what? Josh, Ilanga. Oh my God! Listen, the man is like a giraffe. What? Go eat grass.
I just realized that.
It's simple. Not a footballer. I
realized that from long ago, though.
Just after that?
No. Hold on. No. It's not just seen it. But guess what? You see, because I'm on the show now, me just say it out loud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. Say Ilanga. I know from a long time, but I really don't understand what ETH thinking can get out of Ilanga.
The man name say Ilanga, the Black Dan James.
Listen, because Ilanga is a joke of a footballer. You can go back in time. You can go back in time and find so many footballers that have pace, but at least they have some quality in terms of finishing. They might not be the best goal scorers, but them still put the ball in the back of the net. Listen, Ilanga offers nothing other than pace.
Hey, me watch a game.
Some footballers I know that they're not going.
Josh.
Anyway, what happened to win? One the soccer.
He's farming.
Huh?
He's farming.
He's what farm? Okay, because we realize the left back can play right back.
Yeah, he's farming.
They don't have no faith or trust in him.
Hey, Josh, you know how me know say Ilanga play. When me I watch a game and they put out the team right on the screen, and I suppose me know saying that play. For next minutes in front of him, I didn't know he was on the field. Poor.
No, but I just want to point out again. As a Spanish fan, this coach leaving out the hair is it just now go get over it, brother.
That's
The
true.
hair is just
Why you say
so
you're not happy
clutch
with Demo?
this season. Me not understand. Yo, the man makes
Next
some
player.
save. Like the man just different this season,
All
man.
right,
Spain have a
So
good goalkeeper that can make
Demo,
those clutch saves in World
Demo,
Cup.
Demo.
yeah,
Let's compare him with Sanchez, who has gotten picked over him. Who is
no,
better?
no, me don't want to do that because I know I'm head hurt. So
Yeah,
me
we don't
just
want
will
to go
leave
to
this
the
show.
at the time the ones. All right, guys, your last minute starting with Ryan.
Josh,
Okay.
homework you have to go do, boss. Yeah, run so.
Yeah,
At 2 hours with there, you know.
2 hours there, you know.
You see
You
the
get
time?
locked out. You get
And
locked out.
guys, remember that we have a long week. We're going to have a show like probably 1 or 2 shows per day for the rest of the week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we have a touch World Cup squads as yet.
Yeah.
We'll
We
have a
need
touch
to do that.
schoolboy football tomorrow. We'll be looking at schoolboy football.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So my minute, all
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
fine. Congrats on England on winning the World Cup. I kind of didn't want New Zealand to win it, but New Zealand always is the white. Well, many is a white South Africa, but South Africa white anyway.
New Zealand, but they weren't in the finals.
New Zealand went the semis, man.
No, he said he wanted New Zealand to win.
But
Okay. So yeah, but they always find a way how to choke like South Africa. So that never happened again. In terms of football, we are now on World Cup watch, so that is where all our energies will be going in the next week or so. Some friendlies this weekend and this week rather that some teams will be playing and support. So that is something football-wise to look forward to in the middle of the week, along with those who have their schoolboy football and so forth. So decent end of the, well, not end, but pause for the Premier League season. Interestingly poised for some teams, some at the top. Realize them brace up the elephant now. Them soon buy black and cement for him. But it's a beach in depend, so I don't know how long that going to last. If the black and the cement can work on the seaside. And some teams are fighting for top 4. So the race should be interesting going forward with 60% of the season left.
And Ryan, you're saying this time next week we should be talking about an England victory, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Next week Monday, guys. Early
Hopefully.
Monday.
Fingers crossed.
It's already
Because I'm kind of not so confident.
Oh, my minute.
Yeah.
So maybe just use 30 seconds to just say, listen, I don't know who, like the people them who are do the regional cricket. It is very embarrassing that you're at Sir Vivian Richards Stadium and games I get called off because the light them not turn on. Brother, we not 2022 and then they cannot fix the light and a big game between Leeward Islands and Barbados to decide who are gonna go through and the light them can't turn on properly. Like it is just embarrassing. And so
That's
big up to Raheem Khan or them team him go through because they were ahead and blah blah blah. But me never really want them go through. So me go just say, we don't need to fix that. It is embarrassing. Raheem Khan is awesome, boss. The man now has a Premier League contract in Pakistan, one in Bangladesh, and he's going to Dubai to make that Dubai money. So that's two T20 contracts and a T10 contract. So I hope
we use the money to come down from 300 pounds.
When a business one wants say the people them love him at him size because he might get called up to go play. All right, so that 30 seconds. And finally, I just want, as you can see from my picture right there, so I am going to say it right now. Darwin Nunes is now growing on me as a footballer. So I mean, I call him Uruguayan Andy Carroll and all of that stuff, but he's improving.
You never rate him. We told
you.
So.
Surely you did not watch my Benfica, except for those 2 games.
Man, him did the same way. Let me not understand. The man control is poor. Him control poor. Him always offside, and him just miss a lot of easy chances. Now he's improving. Stop telling me
one quick thing for the cricket.
Watch the 2 games they won't play against Liverpool.
Yeah, that's
the 2 games they play against Liverpool is when I watch him.
All Champions League, I watch him. Every Champions League game. I don't watch Benfica League. I watch him in the Champions League at the highest level. And he didn't look, he never impressed me either. So we no can't tell me what watch from me watch. Now he's growing on me, and me can admit say he's growing on me. He still has a lot of work to do at 23, and him can still improve. But he's growing on me. I'll probably soon rate him. So big up Darwin Nunes, big up yourself, and big up Liverpool as we continue to climb. That's
Adrian,
One quick thing though, Demo.
that won't happen, Adrian.
yeah,
Liverpool-
Levon.
Yo, I don't think Lee Watt's gonna train, brother, because Jamaica they play against West Indies Academy and
Yeah.
Jamaica win. So
Yeah, so
I think Barbados and Jamaica
no,
gone through.
Barbados lose yesterday because of the lights up. Now that me just I tell you, boss.
No man, Barbados win, man.
You know, listen to me, you know, brother. Barbados and Leewards, they play last night to see who go through. And the light never turn on when Barbados supposed to chase. And them something they go through because I must them win.
Man,
No,
engine
brother,
and
that
something.
I try to tell us Barbados win it. Shea what make 88, brother.
How?
Yeah, my last night, brother. Same thing. I'm not Jamaica game since night too. They have to turn off the light and then they turn it back on and Jamaica win pan Duckcourt, Louis.
Oh, me have to go check. Me never know so the light come back on. Me have to go check because
I'm
them
tell
tell
the
me
man
say
and the
the
man I
game
go
is
tell no
done.
madness, brother. I'll tell you.
Alright, me go check it. Me go check it afterwards. Now me feel
Right.
very ashamed. Me have to go check that.
All right, Bones, your last minute.
20 seconds, as we continue to big up the schoolboy football, youngsters doing really well. Just like in the DaCosta Cup last year, I hope a non-traditional high school win the Manning Cup this year. So we hope Simona can do something for just change tradition a little bit. I understand. Me know a man them no rate a certain man to all extent, but it would be nice for a non-traditional school
You're hoping that Manchester win the D Cup as well, right?
to win. Moving on, that can't happen, Josh. The fact that I was doubtful about France and this World Cup, everybody know that I'm a French fan, fully. But now that Kim Pembe won't be going to the World Cup, I think that France stands a big chance of actually going all the way to the final now. And I'm fully supporting my team as of today. Since I heard the news that Kim Pembe won't be going, France has my 150% support now in getting to the finals of the World Cup.
call him one name.
Let's-
French Mings.
What?
French Mings.
French Tyrone means. All right, Kims, I see that they're trying to poke fun at you. What your last minute?
I don't know if you guys spoke about it earlier, but and I'm glad Shakes is here. I really wanted to hear Shakes talk and his beloved Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know if you guys spoke about it in any.
Yeah, that's one topic we wanted to touch on.
But
That's like a whole show. That's like going to take a 1 hour show.
yeah, but in just a minute, right? I will say, and a lot of persons out there are saying, what he's saying, he's not wrong, blah 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 blah, right? But just for the idiots out there, I'll just say it, right? If you are an employee at an establishment, at a place, at a club, at anywhere, you can't come out and no, I gonna say, I have no respect for the coach, right? Again, I'm not going to go too much into it. You say we're going to have a full show on it, so I'll wait on that. But, this just really shows that what I've always believed about Cristiano Ronaldo is only about Cristiano Ronaldo, and that's it. He said that he had a problem last year, right? And it's so funny. Last year, he never come out and said this. And then I look, why? Why is it that he never come out last year and say,
He was scoring a lot of goals.
He was the leading
He was
goal
playing.
scorer last year.
He was playing.
For United.
Yeah.
So why would he come out and say, but no, him not play, no, him need to look good for the people, and he just really turn you off away of a baller with such a great career. We don't want it end like this. We don't want it end like this. But again, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow for what whole show on that.
But
Yeah,
St. George,
before though, but you want to ask Kims before though, Josh. Before it's not gonna be long. Kims, but I just want to ask you as a fan, like, why am I do it whenever una lose? No, well, him do it now when him not play. Like, no, when they no win. Why am I always a do it when they no win?
Yeah,
when
some people ask those things like.
yeah. So
like
so
you
this
just
thing,
try to get that attention or something.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
Take away
obviously,
from the win.
obviously we don't know. We don't have all the answers to the test. So I really don't know. But just from my observation and just knowing a little bit about psychology, what we know, it just seemed like the attention has to always be on him and it has to always be about him. When it's not about him, then he has to find a way to make it about him. So just like the game that we were playing and we win and Ten Hag tell him go warm up, what him do? Before the game done, him walk off, and go down the dressing room. Why? Because he knows, and he said it on the thing, like, when Gary never talk about me, he knows that it's going to be publicized and all of that. So he knows the stature that he has. So when he walk off and go down, Cristiano just walk, and then now that's another story. So it take away. Look on the young youth to score such a brilliant goal. And that was supposed to talk about. Let us talk about Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo, who has contributed absolutely nothing to our season, but noise, controversy, and just plain indiscipline. But we'll
And the British press is all over it. Shakes here last minute.
Yeah. I'll wait until the full interview is aired, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to wait until the full interview is aired.
You need to see more than
Thursday.
How much are the interviews for Shakes? Just curious.
It's like only 30 minutes come out already.
I need to see more than that before you
but
can.
It's actually an hour. It's actually 90 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Listen. I guess Kems wanted me to talk about it, but at the end of the day, for me, even if you want to say Ronaldo is wrong, for me, both parties are in the wrong. It's as simple as that.
Always Ten Hag wrong.
What?
No, when I say parties, I don't necessarily mean Eric Ten Hag.
Right, the club and the player.
Because Eric Ten Hag is just a manager that has to do a job. Otherwise, he will get fired. Right? So when I'm talking about the entity, I'm talking about Manchester United versus Cristiano Ronaldo, right? And as I said, listen, it has just gone very sore at the end of the day. For me, it's just about the team, right? I've been in the doldrums too long. So right now, even with the stuff Ronaldo going on with, me just don't business. I just want us to climb the table and be in top 4, right? I just want to see that because I get better players to come to the club and get out some of the still rubbish players that are there, right? Now call the name. No need to call the name right now in the minute, right? But that's what I want to see. Phasing out Ronaldo, I have no problem with that. He's my baller. Everybody know. But guess what? For 2 years now, I've been saying it. Not even 2 years. Sorry, 3 years, 4 years. I've been saying it from Mbappe burst onto the scene. Manchester United need to put on $20 million and buy Kylian Mbappe instead of Romelu Lukaku. Nobody listen to Shakes. Okay, boom. 2 years ago, put on some money, buy Erling Haaland. Okay, I've been saying it.
So Shakes, you don't really want Mbappe at United with this stinking attitude?
Hold on. The voice. Mbappe is only like that now because PSG enabled it.
So what do you think United would have do?
Bro, guess what? Hey, hold on, voice. Guess what? Voice. Guess what?
A 37-year-old
voice.
Imagine what they would have done with Mbappe. They would have probably sucked him toes.
I prefer a youngster who I prefer a youngster, even if you want to talk about Mbappe, this Mbappe, that. Every single team sheet, he starts. Every single game day, he basically scores a goal or assists a goal. His team keeps on winning and he keeps on playing well. So even if you want to call Mbappe a diva, Sherwin just pick France as his team to go all the way. The main reason he's picking Mbappe, France to win the World Cup is because of Mbappe.
That's not what he said though.
No, but if you ask him, he'll tell you.
Why am I need to ask him? He just stated the reason why he's on the France train. Why am I need to ask him again? He stated the reason why.
No, man, no,
I
no,
need
no,
to ask him
because
again.
of Kim Pembe. But guess what? Kim Pembe was never ever going to win them the World Cup. He would have lost them the World Cup.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
Exactly.
Honestly, as a Manchester United fan, I would not want Mbappe.
I would never want Mbappe.
I would never
nowhere
want
near
Mbappe.
Manchester
I am
United.
tired of the
Listen.
players with big egos.
Listen,
like
Josh,
Mbappe.
there are certain players who I can acknowledge are great, and I don't want them on my team.
Demo, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Mbappe has always been linked to Liverpool. Would you take him at Liverpool?
When the money come, we getting him. Don't worry. I'll take him
There you
right
go.
now.
All right.
Hello,
Okay. All right.
boss. Klopp not going to allow that, you know. Klopp
No,
not
Klopp
tolerate
is a
foolishness
big.
in the boss.
There's a difference, though. You know, Shakes. Klopp
No,
is
but
You see the Klopp run with Sacco? Sacco
but you-
come
but
on one
you
training
would
later
take
and a
him
laugh
at the
up,
club, right?
and Klopp send him home.
You would take him at your club though.
Of course, without a doubt.
Thank you. All right.
Hey, remember me tell you some would already up one check for him January. Me I tell you that.
No,
Hey,
Arteta can't manage that. Arteta
Oh,
cannot
yeah,
manage
yeah,
that ego.
Yeah, tell
manage
just
it.
Oh,
Arteta the
yeah,
wrong.
Aubameyang, my bad.
Based on how me see,
Oh.
based on how I see Eric angled, Chrissy, I mean, I think he could have managed Mbappe.
Oh, yeah.
That ego.
You have to, the thing is too, you have to remember saying, Ten Hag has not coached big players yet. He's just at Manchester
Never has.
United. And he's just learning that part of his trade at Manchester United. So really and truly, not for game time for him work
No,
out.
but what
Make
I'm
it,
He's a
saying,
disciplinarian still in the arm bones.
But what
He's
I'm
a-
saying, but Josh,
He's a
Josh,
disciplinarian.
I don't think you're being fair to Ten Hag because I think he has handled Cristiano Ronaldo better than probably any other coach when
Yeah, and
Manchester
the coach
United have,
before.
apart from Sir Alex Wood. Imagine if
But my gross, right, Kems, was that the moment Chrissy disrespect the command and instruction, that should have been it for him.
But then again, Josh, we don't know what going on in the club. Suppose Ten
That's
Hag
true.
want him out, but the
Correct.
club will say, "Yo,"
Which is
no.
why.
No, but then no,
which is
Eric,
why-
he made that
in
there
my-
were
in my
reports that it was
segment,
made
I
clear.
took out Eric out of it, and when Ken just asking me if I'm addressing Eric, I said no. I believe that is a Manchester United hierarchy thing versus the Ronaldo hierarchy.
Probably it's the Glazers, because the Glazers.
And Eric Ten Hag has just fallen in the middle of it. So I am not attributing anything.
But
Sure.
Hold on, the Sherwin. Make Demo say something.
No, because I just I think about it when they say that Kim say him deal with him. Like, I kind of confused to how him a deal with Ronaldo, see? Because after the walkout thing, him do a little disciplinary or whatever. And then a couple of the games after that, him give him the captain armband against Aston Villa. Something wrong with Ten Hag, brother. You can't do that.
But
I
listen,
think Ten Hag
for me,
was kind of appeasing.
Yeah,
Like,
but Tim,
give the man the armband after him just walk out for you when they tell him
Not
go
fired.
on.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying, Demo. I don't think he's having that person.
yeah, but Demo, Kems, let me say something because I have better remembrance than me. Maybe we forget what I'm going to say. Anyways, hear me I say now. Two things me feel about the situation. One, me feel like
Hold
Cristiano.
on, no, Demo just ask a question. We are talking about this particular thing. I got to change the topic.
No,
Demo
the
just
topic
ask a
not
question.
change. The topic is Cristiano Ronaldo.
No, but he asked a specific question. How is Ten Hag dealing with it? You're going to talk about something totally different. So you cut off Demo question for bringing your point
Me never
across.
say Dima ask one question.
Well, you're not listening. You just want to talk.
Wow, that's very disrespectful.
All right, let me answer. Let me
I answer the question. Me have something to say about it.
Yeah.
No,
Hold on.
Kems,
Remember
answer.
what you said, Sherwin. But Demo,
Answer,
what I'm going to say, Demo, you ever see some bad pitney in a school and what the teacher do? Make them bad pitney the prefect.
Yeah, that's true.
So some things says kind of.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
When
Really?
you never see that.
Well, the bad pitney
A
them
prep
and
school
the
you go, a
bad
prep
prefect-
school you go shake.
I went to a prep school, yes, and I went.
Oh,
to
okay, all right. Them not bad pitney a prep school.
Kems and
Sorry.
Demo, that happened in
Yeah,
a
but I
different
went
way,
to
though.
all
Like
boys
in
school.
high school, we vote for prefect, the students, right? I remember one time in third form, we vote for the baddest pitney in the class to become prefect. And he quiet down, and we did that as a tactic.
Exactly.
Right?
So I'm thinking,
Voted
I'm
for it.
monitor. Hold on, prefect. I'm monitor now. Talk about.
Yeah, prefect.
prefect.
Same thing.
No, it's two different things. A class monitor different from a prefect.
Yeah, but
That
we are
is
going down a
true.
rabbit
He
hole.
has
The
to speak.
concept of it came as they
Yeah.
get to him.
Yeah,
With the
some
little
things
bit.
say Ten Hag and say, okay, you give Ronaldo the captaincy. Make us see if him can, make us see what can happen. Because I think Ten Hag, really and truly, I think Ten Hag want to give him a chance, but I think Ronaldo is just not making it easy for him. That's what I see.
I
Sure, go
agree
ahead.
with you. You want to give him a chance, but Ronaldo not really make it easy, which is why I should have run him a
Listen,
long time.
and this is the reason why I now make it easy. I actually think Ronaldo wants to leave the club.
But
Zane,
nobody don't want him.
all right, wait, no.
Yeah, man.
Me feel say Ronaldo use the perfect. If you
That's
look at
not
the
true,
timing,
Bones.
if you look at the timing of this interview after the last game of the Premier League season before World Cup,
Yep.
and practically right to the end, the next game is 4 days before the start of the January transfer window.
Yep.
You get what me I said? He chose the right time. So now Manchester in between a rock and a hard place. Should we let him go? Me already hear some Manchester United contact them liars with asking how they
Yeah,
can sanction him
yeah,
and
yeah,
whatever. But Cristiano Ronaldo knows exactly what he's doing.
Exactly.
I strongly believe that he did this purposefully so that Manchester United forcefully will let him go in January.
And the top sports lawyer in England has actually
and
advised them.
terminating his contract, and you just allow him to go on the free. Manchester United actually wanted a transfer fee for Ronaldo in the summer. Guess what? Nobody was willing to pay money, plus
A
paying
Saudi club was.
500,000
Somebody in
pounds
Saudi
per week.
Arabia wanted him.
No,
Yeah.
They wanted to give him 350 million to go
Yeah.
and play 2
Then
years
he
in
wants
Saudi
Champions
Arabia.
League too, so it's
But
the
he
whole
did
situation is
not.
complex.
But he doesn't want to play Farmers League yet.
Yeah,
Right?
but the next thing we may have to say is another point of Cristiano Ronaldo's interview. Yeah, if the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo was there, close to 20 years ago, right? I think.
Basically,
Yeah.
in terms of when he just came.
Right. If nothing has changed with infrastructure since then at Manchester United, which he has said, that is very poor and the club extremely poor.
Okay.
You understand? So
But
that side of the story, we back every single day.
But Bones, you do know that that reports coming out of England, and this is not just since the interview, but even from before, when Ronaldo just went back to the club from last year, all them young players, they have been watching how the man, in terms of his lifestyle, his diet, how him exercise, how him train, just because really and truly, those players who have been coming up in the system, we never really have no club legend that was really left at the club, outside of Wayne Rooney, way back when, right? So all these players, they have not really trained with any top tier talent, When Bastian Schweinsteiger came over, he was a rabbit, just hopping on the field, right?
Hold on.
When he came over from Bayern Munich.
Josh,
So really,
bring up Michelle come in there, please.
From all
Like,
that
me just want to ask the man you fans him.
all that time come up, it has been nonsense. Ibrahimovic
The
said the same
comment
thing.
about the disrespect was
Lukaku said the same thing. So many of them that have left they have said the same thing.
Michel is a sheep.
It's
Sheep.
as simple
what?
as that.
Sheep. CR7 always have a plan and
he
always
will
know
not-
what he's doing. He will
What?
not tolerate disrespect. And the
What-
disrespect was rampant. Who disrespected CR7?
And
The
that
man said,
one-
the man
Remember
said,
that
"We don't know this is-"
Michelle, our females in this comment sections are big Chrissy fans, Michelle Latta.
The man said Wayne Rooney disrespect him. And I'm looking for the Wayne Rooney disrespect. All Mr. Wayne, the most Mr. Wayne
Bro,
Rooney.
it has to be something else. I can't that.
The club, guys.
I think it's coming
No,
from
he said
2000.
Rooney. It has to be
the
something
man
else.
mentioned Rooney.
It has to be something else. Rooney says, "Can't we miss it?"
I think it's coming from 2006 World
Shakes,
Cup.
I
When
see the
Rooney
interview,
got
the man
retired.
all time own mouth to talk about Rooney.
No, man. No. I'm not talking about Wayne Rooney. I'm talking about the Michelle comment.
Oh.
Yeah, but
No, we're past that. We're talking about Rooney now.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
and
in
then-
terms of they were asking the disrespect. But I'm saying,
yeah, ask Michelle what are the disrespect because
that's what
me
Nima
not
was
see it.
asking.
Yeah.
And I
Michelle,
was
they
saying
asking
that
you, what's the disrespect?
it's
But
not,
I think
I
that the
don't-
thing between
it's
Rooney
not,
and
it's not
Chrissy,
the coach.
I think the thing between Rooney and Christie go back to 2006 World Cup quarterfinals when England played Portugal.
Yeah,
And Rooney gets sent off with a red card, and Christie was the main reason why he got sent off. I
exactly.
think it's coming from there. Because after the World Cup,
Yes. I mean, Josh, but that aside though, him say Rooney a call up in name in our mouth.
And hold him to work forward after that.
Yes, Josh, we get that, but we are said him say Rooney a call up in name in our mouth.
And what Rooney
So it's
said,
not 2006. That is not 2006. The interview that I saw with Rooney talking about him, Rooney never said anything out of pocket.
nothing.
Saying like what other person saying, it's not starting, should be back at the club. Just
Yeah, that's not true. Rudy never said nothing bad. Me never
And
said
then Gary Neville, as much as we hate him, everything that Gary Neville had said about Cristiano Ronaldo is absolutely accurate. But again, what Cristiano Ronaldo would love if Gary Neville come and say, hey Ronaldo should start. Ten Hag, what are you doing? Please.
You mean like Roy style?
And we're Ferdinand.
James, and you know what? And you know why I don't agree with what you just said? Because guess what? Ronaldo said from the snippet that I saw, he doesn't understand how a former colleague is saying X or Y or Z about somebody who would have shared a dressing room. The same way Rio Ferdinand, Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, right? They never wanted to criticize Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because they all shared. Because listen, it's like a bro. It's a bromance at the end of the day.
Shakes,
it's like you grew up with. Remember, hold on, Kims. They were coming up as the Fergie fledglings, right? The kids. So really and truly, you're not gonna talk bad about your brother.
I don't think Neville talk bad about him though.
He didn't like Gary Neville. Okay. Gary Neville spoke about when Cristiano Ronaldo refused to come on and walk away before the match is over. Gary never spoke about when he walked out before the preseason game.
Yeah, which is why he didn't. Which is why I never shake him hand.
Yeah, but what did Gary never say wrong? That's all my question.
No, but all of those incidents, right?
All of that is just petty nonsense.
I'm not trying to say, I'm not trying to say that what Gary Neville had to say or has had to say about Christie not true, But as I said, you see, if you're willing to do it to Christie, you have to be willing to do it to your other mate where you used to play with.
But Gary Neville
did call a spade a spade.
But
You can't call the spade today because you play with one person more than the other.
Boss.
Never used to back Christie. He was one of them.
I know that, right? But as I said, remember that Gary Neville would have played with Ronaldo from 2003, 2004 season up to 2006, 7, I believe. 6, 7, right? Right? But he would have been around Ole much longer, so he have a closer relation.
But Gary never criticized Ole too. When Ole got fired, Gary never said, this is the last straw. I think Ole has to go.
Yeah, you know why he said that? Because the writing was on the wall.
Jesus Christ. So the writing was on the wall for Christie too, brother.
The fact is insane.
Yeah, but hold on. No, Ryan, you don't hold on.
So it matter when him said?
No, there's a difference in waiting until Stevie Wonder can actually see something.
Yeah, so but normally people wait. Normally set things before it's obvious.
I think Neville's always balance and fear in his
He was from a very long time.
Bro, we can't believe them when they come out with them.
But him can't only get fired 1 year before they get fired. That doesn't make no sense.
Neville is the most balanced one out of all of them.
Hold on. This is the same Cristiano Ronaldo who boxed a little boy for no time and in the brother. So I don't know why I was surprised when the man do this to the bar.
Yo, I have to chime in on this because I can't understand the conversation you're going and me get left out. But I want me to say, Shake, stop chat fulgence here because watch me for one, me dislike Gary Neville with a passion. Well, Gary Neville come out and say, yo, the man missed preseason training. Man, if you find a farm and come back in the team, that is what the man saying. Find farm, come back in the team. What's wrong with that? Man, you're not afraid to admit that Cristiano is a petty footballer, very petty and self-observant and self-over-reliant. And what we can understand with his player, yo, the thing with this man though is that every single time that Manchester United does something good, he make the headlines about him.
Yeah,
Last 10 days, it has always been about Garnacho. Garnacho you keep on hearing. No, Cristiano Ronaldo this, Cristiano Ronaldo that. This man is self-centered, brother.
You know,
yes.
you
And
know
me,
what
they
I
rate this man as a legend, but
I'm
me
not,
dislike this man with a
Devon,
passion right now.
I'm not
Wait,
disagreeing
Michelle,
with
that's the
that.
disrespect.
I'm
Bro,
not
Bring
this
up the
is,
disagreeing with
disrespect
that.
was
bro,
just fine to me, then, Josh.
there is
Let me ask you a
zero
question, a
argument.
controversial question, guys. Right? You want to hear a controversial question?
Yep.
Do you think that Cristiano Ronaldo is bigger than Manchester United?
But
No,
of course.
You're shit.
You would have to look at the word bigger,
But
right?
of
And some
course.
persons would argue that he has more likes, he has more followers on social
We're
media.
not get a
Let
madman
me
from,
say
brother.
that.
Listen.
That's what I say about
Hold on. Josh. Let me say this. When you say bigger, you see right now, in terms of world football, Manchester United, right? They brought back Ronaldo to the club to basically boost social media
Yeah, that's true.
amongst youngsters, because really and truly,
Me feel like the fanboy water get it doing a shakes.
What was the
Bro, what
question
kind
to
of
shake?
foolishness this man on this
What was the
platform
question?
saying,
But
brother?
Cristiano bigger than United, brother.
No, he's not bigger than United.
10 years, over the
Brother.
last 10
No, he's
years,
not bigger than United.
Somebody say
over
that.
the last 10 years,
Brother, yo,
what
a
have
disrespect,
you
yo,
done?
shit. Hold on a second, shake. Shake say a disrespect sports frenzy.
No, what is
Bigger
that?
than
You
what?
come
What
up
have we
talk about
won
Cristiano
over the
bigger
last
than the
10
club.
years?
What
Brother.
kind of garbage this man come talk on the Bomba platform? We are talking
Yeah, I
about.
know, yo, I'm going here, man,
Shake,
because this
honestly,
irritate me, yeah, man.
it's not about win and whatever. He's not bigger than the club.
What about talk about bigger than club, brother?
No.
Bigger than which
Yo, me
club?
can't be say shakes out of this, no shakes. So I always I said, no
Bigger than
player
which
is
club,
bigger than
brother?
Manchester United.
Bigger than which
Shakes,
club?
you of all person.
Guys,
Some persons in the
at
comment
end of the day,
section saying
at the end of
that
the day, this at the end of the day,
he's
think
more
about it.
marketable.
Think about it. The fact that what them name? The fact that the club had to literally get up and run to their lawyers because they really don't know what to do. If it's simply no. If it's another player, another ordinary player, if a Marcus Rashford come up and do this, right? It's simply no.
All right,
Okay.
mega
Boss.
leave. Big up for the show.
Sit on an AR for the rest of
Boss.
the
Even where you're going.
Shit.
and you won't have a
Shit.
problem,
Tell you, every
right?
time you try sound so smart, till you sound so
The man
damn
is
foolish.
getting-
Listen,
the man-
when
the man-
Mason Greenwood is doing thing, did you know Manchester United talk to their lawyers? Any big organization will contact their lawyers before anything at all. We'll come here and talk like say,
you do realize
Cristiano
that
Ronaldo,
what
so we
Mason
must
Greenwood
contact the lawyers
has
before.
done
We really are saying,
allegedly is actually a criminal act. Me never know say Cristiano break no do not
Boss,
crime.
what I'm saying, brother, is as a big
people
establishment,
go
a
for?
big organization, you must contact your lawyers before you make any move whatsoever. I just saw it work. You know, just jump up and just
Common sense that, brother.
That's common
Not even
sense,
capital.
because he
Common
said that
sense that.
he has to make he has to contact they have to contact their lawyers,
No,
right?
we-
And one of the reasons for that is
Josh,
that
God.
they could be liable
Josh,
for lawsuits if
Josh.
they don't. Right? So
Josh.
what United did was to contact the top sports lawyer in England who advised them that yes, they can go ahead and terminate the contract based on misconduct. Right?
Josh,
And
Josh.
they give them that plausible reason as to why or how they could terminate that contract. So in that sense,
Josh.
they could not just go ahead and make a decision without contacting a law firm.
Josh,
That's not any lawyer, but top lawyers as well.
like we never see like
Dean,
some
what you're
so
saying?
Why you still entertain this? Brother, honestly, I can't believe that somebody really said that, I'm just like, why we still entertain
No, there are
this?
persons out there that say that, and they're using certain platforms as to why they're
Is
saying
Sir
that
Alex
it's
Ferguson bigger than Manchester
and they're
United?
bigger.
Bigger than
Is Sir
what?
Alex Ferguson
Bigger
bigger
than
than
what?
Man U?
Yo,
Bigger than
let me
what?
ask you a question too.
wait, so
Is
Sir
Lionel
Alex
Messi bigger than
Ferguson-
Barcelona?
Demo, yeah.
Wait, no, Josh. If Sir Alex Ferguson is not bigger than
No, he's not
Manchester
bigger than
United,
Manchester.
I
Bigger
am
than
telling
what?
you that Cristiano Ronaldo is not even bigger than Sir Alex Ferguson. So how we going to bring
guess
up them
what,
something?
Wayne Rooney.
Guess
Wayne
who
Rooney
is in?
big-
And Demo, guess who is in CR7's camp right now? Sir Alex.
Nobody
So
know
we don't-
business
we
about
don't
that.
have to do
Shit. So
nothing.
that relevant to the point where the man make. You know, say you ever tried pit, bro.
I think
Bro.
Chris is looking pity with mentioning Sir Alex.
Bro,
Yeah, we can't be so at them levels. Shape,
let
you
me
look
tell
like
you
a
something.
trainer depending on the show so long, you know.
Let me
Sir
tell
Alex
you.
always have a motto that no
Listen.
players are bigger than the club, right?
Listen,
So
at the end of
this
the day,
one, I'm not sure. I don't think he's in.
So let me ask you.
CR7 is gonna get exactly what he wants because it's simple. Listen, you see, if you guys are right and the club is bigger than CR7, you know what I would do if I were the club? I would let him sit down at home from January, not even January, when the Premier League resumed, December
December
26th.
26.
From December 26th, but all the way till May/early June, make him sit down in the yard and collect the money because guess what? The owners have the money. So make him sit down in the yard and rub bench. That is the only way you could actually prove to me that the club is bigger than CR7. You know why? Because at the end of the day, he would definitely not get what he wants in that he would not get a transfer, one. Two, he would not get his contract terminated. Or three, he would not get any more game time
Boy,
at the club.
Shakes, you sound like the old time
I see
boy.
somebody in the comments saying that the fun boys are saying that he's
All right,
bigger
watch.
than the club.
And Josh, here we're going to Josh. Josh, here we're going. Me show
Answer
Shakes
question
United
about
bigger.
Jonas
Me show Shakes United bigger than him. Remember, say from some of this brother one cut, you know. And United hold him against him will for cut. So what Shakes are talk about?
And guess what?
From September that man give him when the United are step it in.
And think about it, Levon. The man literally walk off the field at 89 minutes after not coming on. He played 4 more games, and on top of that, he was made captain for a match.
Because Ten Hag soft. That happened. Ten Hag soft to him.
So hold on.
So that means he's bigger than the club because that happened.
So hold on, but everybody was saying the man's suspension should have been longer. He should never have been brought back into the club. Even me and Levan have a personal discussion on the phone and talk about that.
Okay, all right. So
there's no way
so
the
because
man
of
should have
that,
been brought back.
your summary is that because of that situation, CR7 is bigger than the club.
So hold on,
brother, I promise myself that it's all right.
Hold on. You know what's funny? You guys probably had a show where you actually spoke about, I can't remember his name. Levan should remember his name. Because he was the one that brought it up with the player from Ajax. When he called the man to come onto the field and the man refused to come onto the field, and Eric, I think Levan mentioned the story where the man not playing none of his season and the man rubbed him.
Yeah, and then up sell him. I don't remember the player name, but yeah.
He sold him. So that is why I'm saying the only way Manchester United can prove to me that they are bigger than CR7 is by doing something like that. But you can't tell me, say a man refused to come on the field and you literally put him, listen, the man get a 1-game suspension. And the next game back, he was the forward, he was in the starting 11.
Shakes, is Thierry Henry bigger than Arsenal?
Huh?
Or Patrick Vieira?
Let me answer. You're mad?
Okay.
Are you crazy?
I'm going to ask the producers of this show, may I beg you, please, just cut off the last hour. Don't put up this on YouTube. Cut off the last hour,
Bro,
because I really don't want to look like don't have no sense, brother. Like, this is ridiculous, man.
Hold on, somebody asked so Messi is really bigger than Barcelona. But right now Barcelona want back Messi.
Oh my gosh, all right.
Persons use the word bigger in the context of following currently.
Yo, you know when they on Facebook and you see people are type them stuff and you think so them just a troll, I never think so this could have actually come out in a real life. So honestly, brother.
But Demo, think about it. You are in your workplace.
Think about it. This is ridiculous. I mean, I get annoyed and agitated, boss.
Forget about football. You are in your workplace, your corporate office. You 4 members of a team. One of your team members just get up and say, yo, me gone. Me not do this. Boom. You come back. 5 days later, that man that walk out is now your team leader.
Okay. I mean, the analogy is very silly because
How is it silly?
It's silly because it lacks content, but it lacks context.
The man was captain.
Okay.
He didn't have to be. David De Gea could have been captain on the day. David De Gea has been the longest servant at the club presently. He could have been captain. Everybody
And
knows
the
that.
comment section says Ferguson actually said Beckham focus was not on football anymore because he was a brand, so he had to get him out once he feel
What I'll tell you
bigger
though
than the club.
is that CR7 will. I don't think, this is my personal opinion, I don't think that man will ever play another game for Manchester United.
I don't think so as well, and he shouldn't.
And I don't think so as well.
And he shouldn't.
I don't think so as well because me think him time this perfectly for left in January. That's how we mean.
And United is in a position that where they can terminate his contract based on misconduct.
Me feel like them are terminating contract and he not gonna have a problem with it.
Who them for terminate him contract and he bigger than them? Who not talk about? Who him for terminate them contract?
Hold on. Demo, remember terminating the contract, you know. When you terminate the contract, you actually have to pay him off.
Oh Lord.
So you're not only, remember, you know, that's actually what he wants. He actually wants to be paid off, number one, so him get the 500,000 for the rest of the contract. And then two, there is no transfer fee that a club will have to come in, so he enters free agency. And then three, the club that is picking him up can decide, say, all right, boss, okay, so we don't have to pay you 500,000 again. We can pay you 200,000 or 300,000. Are you willing to accept that for a year or 6 months or whatever new contract he signs? That's what he wants. That is why I'm saying, if I am the club, yes, if it shows me bigger than him now, it's simple. The three options what me give earlier, that's what I would do to prove that the club
but the club doesn't have to prove that, Shakes. That's the point. Because you're in the minority here who thinks that the man bigger than the club. The man don't have to prove anything to you. The club don't have to prove
I don't need no more evidence than the man literally walking off the field and then playing the next 4 games and being captain in one of the games. Me don't need nothing further than that.
All right, Josh. No one just left like that, but Madonna. So
no, Mike, we not to cut off the last. You know, so one baby got an interview there going for Ryan LFC. I could have just done and go watch it. I'm gonna see it for the next half an hour, brother, and listen to this nonsense, bro. I have people actually defend this. Mike, I can't believe people think so, brother.
I swear, Demon, I can't believe you. If I see Demon, I say Jamie Carragher defend the thing.
Yo, hey, listen, that's why I have to respect. I have to respect how Arteta deal with Ozil and Aubameyang, you know, cause he never calls them on something, you know, master. I tell you that.
Guys, that's it for our show tonight. Based on how much we talk about Chris, I don't think we need a show on him. That's it for our show tonight, guys. Thank you. Ryan was here earlier on. The voice. Ryan is still here. Ryan is still here. Kems, that is still here. Demo, Mr. Arsenal.
Headache, boss.
And Shaky Shakes, who was absent for a long while, but is back.
Have headache, boss.
The host, Levon, or regular host.
Yeah, man. Yo, Mr. was Josh, you know, say Shakes and Naomi tonight, brother. I can't believe that Shakes knew them thing there from. No joke.
I always like Shakes because he brings some controversy to the world.
No, man, tonight is not controversy. That's foolishness.
This is plain.
Rash Cadillac, my good friend who was trying to
join.
Josh, let me just make the announcement. So tomorrow, guys, we should be having the Manning Cup. We're going to get people who are very much invested, people who does interviews and Craig Butler and all of these people. So look out for the Schoolboy show tomorrow.
Yes,
we get some special guests for you guys tomorrow. All right.
Yeah, man.
Shakes, I can go join Michelle here.
All those who are concerned about the schoolboy football, and we're talking a lot about Chester.
Michelle every time.
You're talking a lot
about Shakes, I can get a pam and shake there with Michelle.
So we got Daniel, Michelle, Emerald, Adrian, the rest of commenters in our comment section. Last word, guys, any last word?
We're not talking
Big
about...
up yourself, Mr. Owens. Yeah, keep the fort good. Big up yourself.
All right. Yes, Bones. We'll be talking about Chester tomorrow. Right?
We're not talking about Chester.
We're in the semi-finals of the Costa Cup, and States is at home. They won't to play a D Cup until next year. Bones.
No, we play Ben Francis, bro. You won't win a chance. We have a chance.
Right? You guys are at home, right? So we have been the most consistent team within schoolboy football for the last 12 years.
We will
So
win a
guys,
trophy, you won't.
that's it for me tonight. I'll see you tomorrow with schoolboy football and for the rest of the week with some World Cup squads announcement preview for that World Cup. So have a good day, guys, and see you tomorrow.
Oh.